Hi, hello, and welcome to the library. I hope that you are doing very well today. It is very hot in here. Hello, Ellie. It's hot to a point where it's, I don't know, madness for this, period of the year. We are not even, in the heart of the summer. And I think today it was like, or it is 34, something like that. So pretty hot, pretty unbearable. I don't want to put the fan on. Not yet, but yeah, pretty tired. It's this weird thing where, the heat just saps your entire energy and it's so hard to just do things. So I'm running a bit late on, everything that I have to do for today. I really wanted to finish my Japanese beforehand, but I was only able to do half of it. There was like a lot of other things, like I don't know, small, things that are not bothering usually, but when you're tired, those are like elements, stimuli that are just a bit too much, I guess. I wanted to give some detail, but I think it's not a good idea if I want to keep my anonymity. But yeah, not nice. So today we are supposed to play Trials of Innocence. This is a Chinese game that was released 10 years ago for mobile, and it got like a port on at least PC, but I don't remember if it's also on the Switch or not. This is an Ace Attorney inspired game, like a courtroom game. And people around me were quite positive about it. There were like a few of those games that were released recently. I think there was, how was it called? Tyrant, Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane, something like that, which was like very Ace Attorney, but with magic being something in lore, meaning that we explore like new ideas for solving cases, and this is something that I really like. So this game, Tyrant Cuthbert, I need to play it at some point, but today I chose to play Trials of Innocence. Hello, Sege. You should not be here, but thank you for the kind words. I hope that you will have a nice afternoon, and yeah, we'll talk later together. But thank you for passing by. And like those, Ace Attorney games, I think they come at a point that is very interesting. At the point that is very interesting because it has been quite some time. Sorry, I was also reading your question and I was wondering if I should answer to your question first or finish my thought, but I think I need to finish my thought. At the point where the series, Ace Attorney, is kind of like, we don't know where it's going right now. Like the last new game, I don't even know, because like, even like the Great Ace Attorney, it was released in Japanese, and it's just that there was like the very good port in English, but that was like 2017, I think, the date of release, something like that. And we have not seen a new game since like 2017. They have wrapped up the, trilogy for the quote-unquote Apollo trilogy with, Apollo Justice, Dual Destinies, and Spirits of Justice. But I don't know what they are trying to do. They have been doing like some trilogies. They have released the Investigation duology, and it's very good, especially for the people that were not able to play the second one. I think Investigation 1 it's complicated for reasons. I think the game is really going strong with the first case, and it's kind of like crumbling over the course of the game. Not because it's bad, but just I don't know, drags on a little bit too much, and the last case is just too long. It feels like so long because it's only one point of contention, the extraterritorial rights, and I just don't think it works very well. I mean, it's a bit too long. It feels like it lasts for 8 hours. But since then, we got nothing from the series, and every year at the Tokyo Game Show we are like hoping to see like an Ace Attorney game, and the answer is just no. So I'm kind of wondering whether it's just dead, which is not surprising, or if they're waiting like for something to happen, probably like the Switch 2. We have seen like a lot of games being released, making their announcement for the Switch 2. And one of these games is Hollow Knight Silksong, right? We have been waiting. I mean, I've not been waiting that much, to be fair. I don't really care. But people were waiting for Silksong for so long, and from the leaks that we have seen, they will announce like the date of release by the end of the summer. I mean, there will be an announcement that the date of release is maybe in, August or September, from what we can gather. And it's like, okay, so you were just waiting for the Switch 2 then. You want kind of to go like for a shadow drop announcement and to release that on the Switch 2. So yeah. And I think it's the same thing with Deltarune. Deltarune was awaited for so long, the new chapters, and they were basically released on the date of the Switch 2 release. Hololive Silksong, this would be crazy, but +2 to be honest. So yeah, I don't really know for Ace Attorney what they're doing. I think part of the problem is that they cannot get rid of Phoenix Wright, just because this is such an important character for the Japanese fans. Like, that's the reason why we have not been able to play like a really strong trilogy with Apollo, because Phoenix is just coming again and again, because that's what the Japanese fans want. I don't know, Athena is also such a great character, but we have not been able to play her, I mean, in a fulfilling way, because again, it's about Phoenix. Which is fine, like I enjoy Phoenix Wright, but at some point the man needs to go. And I hope that, I hope that they will be putting some, fresh air into the series. I think it's the case for the Layton series, like the next Layton looks nice. I enjoy what they're trying to do with, the new trilogy probably, and really playing like Luke as a late teenager. I think it works very well, and to be fair, that was the thing that was expected for the second trilogy. I'm kind of like, I don't know, a bit shaky on the fact that the second trilogy for the Layton games was a prequel. I think it doesn't really work, just because we are rehashing the same bits, and the friction between Luke and Layton doesn't work as a prequel. So this is like a bit unfortunate, and yeah, so we are just waiting for now. And yeah, I was also watching some Hololive on the side just before, streaming, because there's like the whole Minecraft server, like event server in the Japanese side, and I was watching like Fubuki-san. And it was funny, but those like massive collabs, they are a bit too, I think noisy. too many people are talking and it's hard to learn Japanese. And just before like I started streaming, I saw that like Raden-san was doing some, Satsudan. And she was, I think she's talking about the lecture that she gave at the Kyoto University. So pretty funny. I'll have to catch that later at some point. Sorry, I'm dying. It's so hot. Also, sorry. Very based HoloLive. I do enjoy HoloLive, I think, somewhat. A lot. Okay, I think that's it for the yap. I don't have like a lot to say because I did not go. I wanted to do something, a few things like outside, maybe treat myself, before stream, but it was like so hot that I don't know. Going outside right now, I think it's like equivalent to dying from the sun's rays. Okay, let's go to the game scene perhaps, and normally it works. Okay, so this is a Chinese game, meaning that things will be like a bit weird. I know that the localization is, a bit weird, but we are not picky players, so we can like go through the clumsy English. I think it's fine. It would be, I think, like the Japanese translation is slightly better, and we could like go for language Japanese, but I think it's a bit insane. We'll play with the Chinese voice, though. I think it's important, and I think the voice actors are doing like a decent job. So yeah, you can also feel that this is like a mobile game originally. I think it just like the assets scream like mobile gaming, which is also like expected since like a big part of the Chinese market, gaming market, is mobile based. But whatever. So there are 5 cases. I think you can see there 5 different cases. So we'll go at least through the first one and part of the second one, and we'll see how it goes. I've heard that the first case is unclear, so we'll see. But again, I think it's very hard to make a good like first case. Even for Ace Attorney, like you have very weak first cases. I think like Ace Attorney 2 has like a very, very weak first case. I think it's like the worst of all the series. Ace Attorney 1 is just, the first one in the series, so you kind of like, it kind of gets a pass. Third game, Trial and Tribulation, pretty okay, I would say. But mostly like for the story, Apollo Justice is very good, to the point where it's probably the best case of the game. And it's really hard to top that, which is like the bane of Apollo Justice. It's just like interesting premises, execution is not clear. Dual Destinies, I can't even remember the first case of Dual Destinies. Oh, that's the bomb, right? In the courtroom, or am I can't remember. I think it is. But yeah, so I have like no good memories, meaning it's not really good. And same thing, I can't remember the first case of the 6th game. Oh my god. For investigation, like the first cases are very good. Investigation 1, probably the best case is the first one. Investigation 2, very good, because it kind of like is a rehash of like the last case of Investigation 1, but in a better way, a bit more, tight, and it just works. And for Great Ace Attorney, I think like both starting cases are very good. This game is the bomb. There's a bomb in the game, at the very least. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. There are like some very good fan games for Ace Attorney or, inspired games. Ace Attorney inspired games, I mean. We'll see if, it ranks among like the great courtroom, non-Ace Attorney courtroom games. So let's just go. Enough yapping. The preceding story was fictional, no actual person, and so on. Every reference to like people is fortuitous.
什么？
Shema. The sound might be like a bit loud. I think it's loud in my head. Death-bound spectre. I'll just probably like
这里是法院吗？
So we begin like immediately in the court. Interesting. It's a bit weird. I know. Put like the master back and we'll just like put you down a little bit. Something like that. So I won't read too much of like the English because you have like the dubs in Chinese. I'll read a little bit, especially if like it's second monitor content, but not too much.
马上就要开庭了，让你在旁边闭目养养神，你突然鬼喊鬼叫个啥呢？
So is this like our assistant, the counsel to the defense?
龙叔。
Okay, no, this is like the chief attorney. I mean the attorney in chief of the office or something like that.
因为这是个关于凶宅闹鬼的案子，我又实在接得太急，昨天看了一整晚的材料。
In a murder house, I guess like murder house is like a haunted house, something like that. I'll just check. I just want to check like the English voices to see how they sound.
结果果然刚一闭眼，就开始做乱七八糟的怪梦了。
哎呀，你这个样子，真的没问题吗？
Our first day,
今天可是你
obviously.
作为律师的第一次出庭啊。
Very funny that like they don't really talk. Like there's no talking animation.
没问题，对吧？
对吧?
真是服了你了。
Or they talk like a little bit, but it stops like kind of immediately. Okay, interesting. Can I check also my case like beforehand? Our license. Okay, you can see like mobile gaming. We are cute. I like it. So very funny, names that are, I don't like too much when they like localize also the names, but I guess this is better for the Western audience. So Drake, Ray, Pine, Camel. A frail and timid young man said to be the live streamer Shivery Camel, so like kind of like his username or whatever in Spooky Shack, discovered dead at a sinister manor within a murder house. And Plum Swift, probably the best-selling detective novelist, frequently involved in incidents due to suspicious material collecting habits. So is this like the... Will it be the defendant or else? We'll see. Okay, skull fracture. So maybe he fell or something else. We can see like there's okay. What? What is happening in here? He fell and then... Okay, well... We don't have a lot in our case file right now. My name is Luna Ray, a newly graduate lawyer who just returned from studying abroad. And this person, who appears rough and unreliable, but is actually much more capable than me, is Charlie Drake, the chief of Drake and Thomas company. No, it's not company. For attorney cabinet, I don't remember. Is it? I can't remember. As well as my senior and boss. Today marks the first trial of my career as a lawyer, but the situation right now is a bit tricky for a rookie. As for why, that's a long story. Chief. I don't think I can handle this case by myself. Oh, so only part of it is dubbed? Weird. Hey, calm down. I have registered as an assistant to accompany you in court. Is this because of the... The most important thing right now is to communicate with your client. After all, this is a murder case. But you only received the case last night and rushed to court this morning. There must be many details you haven't confirmed yet. Yes, this defense is completely unplanned and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
咱们先去找你的委托人吧。我记得，对方好像是你大
I don't know.
学时的。
Is this because I changed the language? I don't know.
没错，就是小梅我了。
She's crazy. Oh, I think I feel like I know this voice, but I don't know. No, everything, I don't know. Luna, this is the courtroom. This is not as gloomy as I imagined, so she's so happy for someone that is the defendant.
我还是第一次当被告呢，居然还有沙发可以坐，我还以为要带着枷锁蹲在囚
I
车
thought I'd
里
be
呢。
shackled in a prison van.
居然每个地方都有法警把手。
I think she's a bit crazy. She's a bit crazy. But I like this energy because I think like our senior and ourselves were kind of like level-headed or very calm, so we need like this, you know, extra energy. Okay. Don't worry about
那
it.
边那个正在撒欢的人，就是你的委。
当了被告进法庭还这样，确实是他会做出来的事。
She is a bit crazy. She's crazy. This seemingly unnervous person is my senior from college, Plum Swift. What a name. Plum, my beloved. I mean, I like her design, to be honest. I don't know. This is a cute design. After graduation, she worked at a law office for only a short time before transitioning to become a detective novelist. Although it's hard to believe her works are said to be quite popular. With whom? Is the question, probably. Just before getting off work last night, I received a call from her saying that she has been arrested on suspicion of murder. Due to the urgency, she had no choice but to entrust me, the lawyer with whom she has the closest relationship. She may be unreliable, but I know she wouldn't go as far as committing murder. I mean, committing murder is a big thing, so today I'll have to find out the truth and help her clear her name. No time for small talk. Plum, quick, tell me more details about the case. Oh, I told you everything in the meeting room yesterday. Why ask again? We barely had a chance to talk before the detention center closed. You only showed me some video screenshots. Wow! Wasn't that super exciting? Transition into novelist +2. The three genders. Yes, and if I hadn't seen those things, I wouldn't have had that nightmare just now. I have already collected those screenshots as evidence. Let's focus on the case now. After all, during our meeting yesterday, all I remember is that shocking line. I was dressed as an evil god and got arrested. You didn't give me anything you didn't give me anything else useful. Wow! When it comes to the case, I'm currently planning a new detective novel. She's crazy. It's normal to dress a bit weird for collecting materials, isn't it? It's probably not normal, but at that point... But who knew someone would die as soon as I arrived, making it perfectly normal for me to be arrested as a suspect? They sure, right? I don't think either of them is normal. Is that person really your senior? She doesn't seem like someone who studied law at all. What is this face? The two sisters are reflections in a mirror, indistinguishable from each other, and even modern technology can't tell them apart. They appear like shadows in the night, ready to push the incoming detective into an endless abyss. Plum, your novel is becoming more and more fantastical. Is this still a detective story? Wow! Doesn't it resemble the exploring science show we used to watch? What is she talking about? I think I've heard of a similar case. Is that a reference? I don't know. It's okay, Luna. I've already gathered some information before you arrived. It said that the prosecutor you're facing today just got the license half a month ago. Feeling a bit easier now? I mean, this is probably also like some sort of like prodigy or whatever. Plum is so normal to me. I mean, she's kind of like just very, hyper, but she's not like outrageous. Well, I heard about that too. It's good news for you. So today's trial is a showdown between rookies. That gives me a bit of confidence. Yes, that's the spirit. Look, I've even arranged some reporters to cover your debut. What? No wonder there are so many people outside with cameras. So you are the one who called them here, Bloom. If I lose my career will hit rock bottom right after the debut. Oh, don't worry, this case should be a breeze for you. After all, I am innocent. I just pushed the victim off, and he happened to die. Bro, it can't be real. She's actually stealing the what were you talking about +2. You are the thing in the video that pushed the victim down. The destined showdown is about to begin, with a rookie lawyer pitted against the prosecutor in a thrilling courtroom clash. Wow! How is that line? Wait a minute, what did you just say? You didn't mention it at all yesterday. Wait, I didn't. Well, I mean, maybe I forgot. Well, the court is about to begin in 1 minute. Defense and defendant, please proceed to the courtroom. I mean, you can see like that the English is a bit like shaky and the localization is not like polished, but I think it's all right. Oh no, we have no time left. Anyway, I definitely didn't do it. I just pushed him down on the floor and he happened to die. So relax. Good luck, I'm going in now. Okay, so we are cooked. What a unique client. Time's almost up. Take the few pieces of evidence we have and get ready. Okay, let's do it. Plum's attitude is always different from ordinary person. She's a bit special. I can only rely on the few items on hand. Just in case, I can browse through the exhibit. Sorry, in the top right corner. Interesting. I mean, I've played, Ace Attorney, so I think it's alright. Interesting. Oh, this is like the pain thingy.
那么，关于被告人熊小梅涉嫌杀人一案的审理，现在开庭。
辩护方已经准备就绪。
I like when the console is also visible on the screen. I think this is like something that some Ace Attorney game really lacks. But yeah. Arthur Hush.
老夫想想。
He's just cooked. I think he's
应该
cooked.
怎么说来着？检控方已经准备好了，应该是这样吧？
He's cooked. Isn't the prosecutor today a rookie who just got qualified half a month ago? How come it's a man as old as my grandpa? I did just get qualified half a month ago. Before that, I was doing some odd jobs in the court. He was like, typing transcripts. Finally got qualified now, How to put it? You're never too old to learn. I mean, he looks nice, so it's kind of like... What is good with like Pain in the Ace Attorney series is that Pain is just, such a pain, literally. And it makes you very happy to crush him, but this is just a normal old man. Could this be one of those stories where a janitor at the court finally gets qualified after years of hard work? Even such an old man has to appear in court. Maybe they are really short on staff, just think of it that way. Hush because he's secretive and part of a mysterious cabal. Maybe, he's the final, the final boss of the game. Has the prosecutorate really fallen to such a state? Anyway, let's focus on the trial now. So Mrs. Ray and Prosecutor Hush. Oh yes, that's right, I'm Prosecutor Hush. Very, bright eyes. So both the prosecution and defense today are newcomers to the field. Whether the defendant in this case is guilty or not will largely depend on your performance, so please do your best. Oh, she doesn't have the time. Let's get straight to the point, Your Honor. It seems that both of you are ready. Please proceed with the case summary. Bro is lost. Bro doesn't know the case. Me? I'm trying to recall it. You interrupted my thought, Your Honor. No, I've forgotten everything. Sorry about that. So what are you going to do now? Bro remembers. You remember. The case, obviously, it's a murder by poisoning. It happened on a cruise ship and the defendant is a lawyer named Drake. I think this is kind of like the joke that, at the start of Ace Attorney 1, you have to tell the victim, the defendant and the cause of death, and you can answer, completely wrong. I'm standing far from the center. Even if he got the person wrong, he should think you are the defendant. Is there something wrong with what I said? Yes, there isn't a single part of your statement that is correct. So what should I do? Can this grandpa prosecutor really make it? The prosecutor has turned the opening into a mess. This won't do. But we can use this chance to impress the judge. Since the prosecutor is unreliable, use your speech to stir the trial back on track. Okay, let's do it. After all, I've seen the trial procedure many times. What I should say now is...
反对!
Oh, nice animation. The prosecution statement seems to partly deviate from the facts. Interesting music. So regarding the defendant and the details of the case, please allow the defense to make corrections. Objection sustained. Defense, you may go ahead. First, as you said in the opening, we are here to try a murder case. My client, the defendant Plum Swift, is suspected of killing Pine Camel, a ghost hunt live streamer. Are we really missing Pine Camel? What you said finally matched the information I have. I can understand live stream, but what is ghost hunt live stream? The ghost hunt live stream is a popular format in Japan and South Korea, similar to ruin exploration to urbex. These streamers explore eerie places to capture supernatural events, so it's called a ghost hunt live stream. In recent years, with the development of major video platforms, there have been many people live streaming ghost hunts. Here's a poster for this ghost hunt streamer. The drawing depicts his appearance during the live stream. He finally logged in. I think I've seen this poster before. It was posted by the victim not long ago. Let's check that. There's probably something with the decor, right? And the date. Silver Camel in Spooky Shack. Mère de maison. Mère de maison. Okay. So we have a date, but... August 8... I mean, it's August, so it's a bit weird, but... the 8th at 3 p.m, which kind of at about... So we know the... We don't see you, but you're bleeding. Why? But you were already injured before falling. Interesting. No clickbait. Okay, interesting. So he died after that particular thing. So this is like the terminus ante quem for like the murder. And then things is happening. Well, the thing is falling here. Interesting. We don't know yet. We don't know. I still don't quite understand, but simply put, it's just a group of people seeking trouble by exploring risky places, right? Yes, this is what streamers are doing nowadays. This is not entirely wrong. As for the crime scene in this case, well, it's in a high-end Chinese-style residential community. What was that subtle hesitation just now? Did you forget the name of the community? Oh, you read my mind, Chief. I took on this case in a rush, and that awkward name is indeed hard to remember. Mère de maison, which is... I can't see like the Chinese character, but anyway, I can't read like, you know, those characters. Okay, tutorial. The name of the community where the incident occurred should be there. The location of the incident in this case is a high-end residential community, and its name is Mère de Maison. Oh, because murder mansion, I see, I understand, like the thing. I find it weird too, but the community names matches what was on the victim's promotional poster. I mean, this is the thing that, you know, translation is hard, localization is hard, especially when you come into like jokes that just work on the original language. Mayor des Maçons. It seems to be the case. It looks like defense is well prepared. Impressive. I'm not feeling cheerful despite your kind words. +2. So the next question, I'll ask the defense to help me answer it. Please. Why was the defendant arrested by the police? You must know the reason. It's something the prosecution should know best, isn't it? It seems the prosecutor Hush is seeking help from us. You have to step up and be the good guy. I'll be the good guy. Why do I have to play both the defense and the prosecution? In that case, let the defense present evidence to explain the answer to this question. Okay, so we are presenting evidence right now, which is different from Ace Attorney 1, if I remember correctly. I believe this evidence explains why the defendant was arrested by the police. I guess it's like the live stream, right? Because we said that like she was arrested while wearing like this, you know, weirdo Cthulhu costume or whatever.
就是他。
I have a video record of the victim's live stream before his death. The content is hard to describe. Show me. What is this hesitation? Is the judge like being hyped by like mysterious things? Isn't it supposed to be video? Why are all of these screenshots? And what exactly is in these photos? The live video is very long and contains a lot of repetitive and irrelevant footage. So I only took screenshots of the relevant parts. Let me explain it briefly. The time of the screenshot is 4:44, showing the victims exploring the house after entering. Looks like he stumbled. At this moment, the victim appeared to be holding a selfie stick and writing notes at the same time. The subsequent footage is all in portrait mode, and the victim had already found a place to set up his phone. Then he disappeared in the screen. There was no movement for the next few minutes. The next time the victim appeared on the screen is at 4:54. By the way, let me check something. No, okay, this is the same leg. This is his right leg. Okay, this is the same leg. We can also see the bruise on the victim's leg caused by the stumble. I'm not sure about that. This is also the last time the victim appeared on screen. At 4:55, a pink object appeared on the live stream. After entering the room, it hesitated and looked around for a while. It is not until... So there's like a gap of like 3 minutes. It's not until like 4:57 that it continued moving forward. Then Then, accompanied by a falling sound, a blurry shadow fell down. I'm almost expecting, like... Interesting. It's interesting because I'm almost like thinking that because like there's a 3-minute gap, and for me like that's the time between like being like here, like showing on the screen at like 5:50, I don't know, 4, something like that, or 55, and then you run out and you go to that exit. And you are able, like, by hiding beneath, like, the railing, you can kind of push, like, the thing in here without being seen, and it would explain, like, the delay. But there needs to be a trick to open the door then, without being, like, on site. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. We haven't started, you know, exploring what was happening, and I'm already, you know, theorizing. I'm a bit crazy. And his shadow was later confirmed to be the victim lying dead on the first floor. So the victim was probably in the costume, right? And again, probably the figure that we're seeing like a bit earlier, this was like not the victim. Maybe? I don't know. It makes no sense though. What was that creator behind? Was there really a ghost hunting this murder house? I cannot completely rule out this possibility, but at least there are no ghosts appearing in this video. One possibility also is that the footage was not recorded on this particular date, but... This pink object is actually an exaggerated mascot costume, and the person in it is my client, Miss Plumswift. And I just knew it minutes before the trial. But she said that she pushed the victim. Then why was she dressed like a squid at the crime scene? Well, I think that thing is called an octopus. No. It's an ancient god called Cthulhu. Cthulhu. What on earth is she talking about? In a word, the entire sequence of events above was witnessed by all the viewers watching the live stream. Oh no, this was a live stream. This was a live stream. So, but you can still record a live stream, you know, in advance and like play it again. So we don't know. We never know. And I believe that's why the defendant became the prime suspect in this case and was arrested by the police. Am I correct, Your Honor? Yes, I didn't expect the defense to have such a clear grasp of the case details, as if you're trying to directly prove her guilt. That's not what I meant. My defense hasn't even started yet. That old man is giving you a thumb up. Great job. You are now the prosecutor. If it goes on like this, my mind is going to split. Okay, let's proceed. With just these few exhibits, it is not enough to prove the defendant's guilt. Prosecutor Hush, please summon the witnesses. The prosecution is still searching for documents. Miss Orchid Falcon is entering the courtroom. Is this... Are they like translating the names like kind of like literally? We took on this case to Hasley without the chance to interview the people involved or investigating the scene. Everyone's words and actions in court, along with the exhibits presented, will be crucial. Pay close attention. Makasete kudasai. Okay. Nice design. I love the hairs. I mean the hair. This is the same joke as in Ace Attorney. They're not saying their name.
陈姐，依照流程，我得自我介绍吧。
对，忘了，你请。
对。
我叫牛美兰，是洗浴
She's
用
called
宅的保
Melian.
安兼管理员。
Interesting. The security guard and administrator of Murder Maison. So this lady is the first witness I'm going to question today. She looks like a very gentle person. +2, +2.
你不是牛警官吗？那个单枪匹马剿灭600
The
人盗
police
窃
legend
团
who
伙的警界传奇
single-handedly
啊！
wiped out a gang of 600 thieves. Just forget what I said.
您过奖了。坊间传言总是比真相夸张一点。
Actually, the gang
其实那个
only
团伙
had 6
只有6个人。
members. I see. I mean, she looks nice. 100 times. It's not just a bit.
况且我已
Besides,
经不是
I'm
刑警了，孩子渐渐长大了，就想换一份安全点的工作。
interesting.
毕竟孩子他爹还在中东战区维和部队服役，我们不希望他在将来
My husband
同时
is
失去
serving in the Middle East peacekeeping forces. I guess like the United Nations, right? They're truly a pair of heroic role models.
现如
+2.
今小区保安才是我的身份，让你见笑了。
哎呀，
The names
司
seem
法
very
界
literal.
失
I
去
think
你
so,
这
yeah.
样一位人才，真是莫大的损失啊！
Our talent,
对
the
对了
genius of
请
the
让老
police
夫补充
forces.
几句。各位也听到了，证人之前是一名刑警，他还是案件的知情者，具备专业的刑侦知识。检方认为由他来代替老
Is he
夫说
trying
明
to
情
shirk
况
again
更加
from
合理。
his
怎么样
duties? Oh my god.
没有问题。
没有问题. You've got the chance to slack off again,
收
huh?
到，那接下来的时间就交给我了，请各位看看这张现场布局图。
Oh, I didn't see that she had like an apron here. Okay, interesting. We have the scene of the... So he fall here, but probably like the table was not here, and I'm expecting the table to be there. Also, one thing... No, wait, it's weird. No, the phone was set up here, right? We can see the phone here. Or something there, like behind this this screen. And this is the view that we had, probably. But the railings is not the same as in the video, am I crazy? Like, these railings are filled. I don't know. Oh no, this is not the same thing. So no, this is not the view that we had. Or is it? Oh, maybe, okay. I don't know, those railings are filled here. Maybe this is just, you know, like, I don't know. It's hard to say, but the table wasn't here. Well, anyway, because the last two owners of B2 died unexpectedly, it has been rumored to be a murder house, well, a haunted house, and has been vacant for a long time. More than one victim, but 3? This mansion can be visited with a key obtained through prior application. The victim, Pine Camel, had reserved B2 in advance for a ghost hunt live stream. During the live stream, the audience saw the defendant push him from the 2nd floor to his death and called the police at once. But when the ambulance and the police arrived, he was already dead. So the defendant, the only person at the scene, was arrested. Interesting. I have a question. The 2nd floor doesn't seem very high, yet the victim died on the spot. At this height, even I won't have serious injuries if I fell, right? I mean, you know, even if you fall from like a short height, a bad fall will kill you on the spot. Or at least harm you like seriously. So I wouldn't be that confident, Mr. Judge. If you really felt, you wouldn't be here anymore. +2. It's not that simple. About that, please take a look at the photo of the scene taken by the police upon our arrival. So he died here. Interesting. No bruise here. So probably 2 different people, right? Yeah. Yeah, there are 2 different people. And she was talking, our client was talking about like 2 people being similar to each other. like when she was like reciting her stories, like 2 sisters, basically twins. So I'm expecting like this to be a case with like twin identity. After the former owner's accidental death, a small amount of antique Chinese furniture was left unattended at the scene. And unfortunately, our victim hit his head on the corner of the altar table during the fall, which led to his death. But why the corpse is here then? Bad luck. Let me submit these items as evidence. Okay. So we got the plan. Very interesting also this plan. It doesn't really match the... I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but okay, the proportions, the perspective is not good, but it will do, I guess. By the way, since you're the administrator of the community, could you give us a brief overview of it? Yes, the incident took place in Murder Maison, a closed high-end community built by a foreign enterprise. A French one? And the number of houses directly managed by me in Zone B is very small. What do you mean by small? Specifically, how many are there? 3. 3. There are only 3 in total. Only 3 in Zone B. There are large Chinese-style villas and the community is high-end. As you may know, the density of population is an important measure of the community's high-end status. I mean, especially with in China, you know, the estate crisis. No matter how high-end it is, there's still a haunted house. In addition, the property has a closed management system requiring non-owners like the defendant to register for entry and exit. Therefore, it is relatively easy to trace the person involved in this case. I have a report here for your reference. So she clocked in at like 9. Pine Camel came like... Oh, he came like at noon. Bombardier. Plum Swift, weirdo. Who is Bombardier? And this is like at the time exit. This is the time of the murder. Or when we see like the thing falling. Huh. I don't know. Well, Pine Camel never left, obviously, but... Having a lot more pieces of evidence, all of a sudden I'm a bit lost now. Don't worry, we can also hear the testimony. Through the testimony, this is like a tutorial for the cross-examination. Bombardier seems sus. If I want to help Plum clear her name, I need to find evidence that prove she's not the murderer. Witness, based on the current evidence, is the defendant really the only person who had the opportunity to commit a crime? Can you provide more detailed explanations about this? Sure, Your Honor. Please allow me to report on the reasons for the defendant's arrest. Let's proceed. Okay, so the cross-examination. At 4:50 of that day... Sorry, I'll just ban this. At 4:50 of that day, the defendant, dressed in a bizarre outfit, walked into Zone B of the community, and we crossed paths. This is indeed the time of entry. Shortly after the defendant got in, the police arrived. As a security guard and former police officer, I accompanied them at once. We climbed the external stair of B2, broke the door, found the defendant tied up on the second floor, and a body on the first. Found the defendant tied up on the second floor. Interesting. So probably... you got like tied up by like bombardier. Oh, thank you for the hydro check. You got like, yeah, and he did something, probably pushed like camel, and then exited the it's weird. Do you have the time like to capture Swift, take like the costume and use it, and then put it on Swift again? I don't know. Per the autopsy, the victim died when the defendant pushed him from the second floor, causing his head to hit the altar corner. Based on the condition of the scene, it can be deduced that no one tampered with the area after the victim was pushed off. During the on-site interrogation, the defendant also admitted to pushing someone off, so we arrested her on the spot. But she probably pushed Bombardier, right? Indeed, the logic is clear and flawless. You have done nothing. Thanks to the professional detective, I suddenly see the light. Things I didn't remember, all came back to me. So after hearing this testimony, does the defense have any thoughts? Leaving all the important things to others, or you playing the sidekick in a skit? 2 questions. The bizarre outfit you mentioned is this one. Okay, what a masterpiece. The defendant walked into Zone B dressed like this that afternoon. No thoughts, head empty. I mean, you know, that's how a lot of people are doing their job, probably. You clock in your meeting, no thoughts. First I saw a strange creature moving towards here from afar, then trying to break into the community. Without hesitation, I intercepted that thing and realized that it was a human wearing a strange mascot costume. If she hadn't been making a fuss there, I would have taken out a tranquilizer gun for wild animals. Especially Plum Swift. It took a lot of effort for me and the investigating officers to strip this costume off the defendant. Okay, so hard costume to remove. I see. Wouldn't obstruct the insider's vision. Okay. That outfit seems to have something strange on it. I'll examine it closely later. Another question, if what the witness said is true, is there a possibility that the defendant accidentally pushed the victim? This would significantly affect the nature of this case. If we admit that the defendant accidentally pushed the victim and it led to his death, it's still admitting that she's the murderer. Of course, the charge of negligent homicide is much lighter compared to intentional homicide when it comes to conviction. Plum entrusted me with a non-guilty defense. I cannot back down on this issue. Anyway, the defense has the right to question the witness. Please allow me to question the testimony first. Okay, so we can, we can press and we can like present evidence, the same thing as Ace Attorney, and so on, find a contradiction. Pretty clear, we know how it works. So we have like a penalty system, like it's the old school penalty system, or the one also you have like in Great Ace Attorney. I think it's better than the gauge one, but no, it's not old school. Like this is the new system, right? Before it was like a gauge. If you present the wrong exhibit, the judge's impression of you may worsen. Okay, so there's like a way to play like this type of game is to press every assertion. Okay, I see. So it's like you can select the thing here. Okay, and then you can present things. So normally we would press like everything to get like some details. Let's read them. Oh, this is like not in order. police.
等等，
So when you found out about the murder when the police arrived, is that correct? Yes, because it was a viewer of the victim's live stream who called the police. I did my best to ensure all security protocols were followed, but I still couldn't prevent the incident from happening. And I can only cooperate with the police to bring the murderer to justice. Okay, so the order is like from here to there, right? And then we go here. Okay. So top to bottom and right to left. I see. My problem was here. It's like based on the condition of the scene, it can be deduced that no one tampered with the area after the victim was pushed off. First of all, like, how do you know that? Based on the condition of the scene, it means nothing. Plus, it's not exactly right. Because we can see here that it has to be moved. They show if he fell down and like hit his head against the table, the body would be like near this particular table, and probably the table was the thing that was moved, but it's hard to say. I think this is a clear enough contradiction. And there's like this thing with like the Ben 8, but I think we can probably present immediately.
犯罪！
May I ask you a question? Do you believe the defendant who admitted to the pushing is the sole suspect since no one tampered with the scene afterwards? Yes, the defendant's condition prevented her from tampering with the scene after all. Because she was tied up. Then there's something strange. Please take a look at this photo of the scene. The police inference is that the victim was pushed off from the second floor, hit the altar table and died. But given the position of the body and the altar table in the photo, it is impossible, right? The body fell on the right, while the bloodstain was on the left of the altar table. They were in totally different sides. At just one floor's height, I don't think the body could have hit the altar table hard enough to change its angle completely. A very keen observation. Besides that, there's another conspicuous issue in this photo worth discussing. Is he talking about like the blood stains or like the band aid? The blood around the body is minimal. Yes, okay. Is it what you'd expect from someone who fractured their skull on a table corner? And this is much less blood than I've seen in other fall scenes. I don't think Officer Falcon and the police would deliberately tamper with the scene. Could it be that someone deliberately manipulated the scene before the police arrived? It's hard to rule out. Order, order. After hearing the defense argument, I also find this scene photo very suspicious. Could it be?
反对！
He's crazy. He just popped off. Do you have any opinion? Your Honor and Officer Falcon, I haven't caught up with your thinking. Could you please help me refute it? Oh my god, he's just cooked. Since Prosecutor Hush has requested it, I'll provide some explanation. I do acknowledge that contradiction raised by defense, but that doesn't undermine the conclusion reached by the police, because it only means that the body's shift in position relative to the altar table happened before the police arrived. This does not change the conclusion that the defendant was the only person present at the scene. But the defendant was entangled in the staircase railing and didn't have the ability to tamper with the scene. Entangled, but I think it's tied up, right? Whether the defendant was entangled in the staircase railing, oh yeah, it's like tied up to the staircase railing, I guess. It is something we cannot prove. After all, the live stream was cut off immediately after being reported by netizen. She could have tampered with the scene on the first floor before returning to the second floor. isn't that a bit far-fetched? She was wearing that kind of costume. But it is not entirely impossible. Calm down and listen carefully. Also, given the victim's limited fall height, there is also the possibility that he survived for a short time after the fall. Didn't he die on the spot? No, it's not on the... okay. What if the victim moved the altar table after he fell? During the victim's struggle, he accidentally moved the table. The movement was minor, so no significant traces were left. Yes, but it doesn't explain why that is on the other corner and why, like, there's no traces of blood between the two here. I understand now. No, you don't. For example, after the victim fell, he struggled and kicked out with his right foot, delivering a perfect spinning kick. I mean, to be fair, we cannot rule that out. We need to rule that possibility out, even if it's, you know, crazy. The altar table was kicked and spun around. That's how it went. What do you think? Somewhat weird, this possibility cannot be denied, exactly. So it is actually possible. I mean, we can probably refute that just by saying that there's another person that could have done it. Though reluctant to admit, Officer Falcon's explanation does make sense. The inconsistency in the photo of the scene isn't sufficient to entirely overturn the suspicion on the defendant. But your efforts have created a slight crack into a seemingly solid chain of logic. If the defendant is truly innocent, following this crack will eventually tear apart the previous conclusions. Well, then, as my duty demands, I will now provide a stronger testimony to prove that the defendant must be the murderer. Regarding the point that the defendant is the only possible suspect, please allow me to continue my testimony. So this is like the appending part, right? No, okay, it's another one. The house where the incident occurred has a unique layout. The first floor door is totally sealed. Only the door up is accessible. Okay, so this is like... We knew that there was like a door here, but this door is completely closed. Okay, so you need to come from here, I see. But then it means that you cannot exit the room without being seen. So you came here, and I guess you were murdered by your friend, like your, you know, Bombardier here. Bombardier kills you by like slamming you onto the table, whatever, off screen. You come here, like Plume comes here, opens the door. I don't know why she's like... Because she saw like the crime happening, probably. I think she saw the crime happening and she saw that it was like twins. Then she rushes in and she pushed like the culprit. Culprit is falling but doesn't die. Then they fight. She gets tied up. Live streaming is ending. Culprit is leaving. And you are not the you're not the victim. You're the culprit. Probably. I don't know, I'm not sure. No, it's not possible. Wait. No, you are... Okay, no, you are the victim. Because you have like this... I don't know, I'm not sure. Why do we have like this thing in here? You're the victim. So, if you're hurt here, but it's 4:44. No, everyone was on site. So can it be that you're the culprit all along? Or like the victim was already dead by that point, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, I'm theorizing a lot instead of like, just going through the motions. And the lock on the second floor is faulty. Once closed, it locked itself at once and you have to use a key to enter or exit. So you need to have a key. Interesting. Which was probably the key in here, I guess. I don't know. There are two keys to the second floor. At the time of the incident, one was held by the victim and the other one by the defendant. When we broke into the house, both keys were securely attached to the holders, with no sign of them being taken away. And on the day of the incident, no one else could enter the scene except the victim and the defendant. In conclusion, the defendant plus swim is the only suspect, that's all. Okay. What kind of terrible luck it is, truly befitting a murder house, a haunted house. At the scene and found no evidence of forced entry or tampering with the locks. But our client is made more suspicious, okay. A request. Can the lock of this murder of this haunted house be submitted as evidence in the court? I just want to have a look at, at it to accept it as evidence. Okay. Can only be as okay. So this is just an element. We don't need to examine it, but whatever. The haunted house truly lives up to its reputation. Okay. But why would anyone take over such a house? Well, it doesn't matter this. I wouldn't want it even if it's free. Better focus on how to break down Officer Falcon's testimony. Okay, let's start questioning. My guess is again like, it's that the number of people. It doesn't, I'm not... This is like the thing that is probably unclear, right? Or like the conclusion, no, but probably here. And on the day of the incident, no one else could enter the scene except the victim and the defendant. Probably not. Probably not. I want to let's push first, let's press first to make sure that it's the right idea. So only the victim and the defendant could enter B2. Yes, I would never violate the regulations and allow unregistered visitors to enter. Okay. So this is probably it, right?
犯罪!
Officer Falcon, you've been following the procedures diligently as you said, but there's something you overlooked. For example, this registration form. I don't follow, Miss Ray. According to the records on the form, there's a person named Bombardier who had entered the community. And this person left the community just after the incident. In that case, the police cannot rule out the possibility that he entered the scene to commit a crime, right? So that's what you're questioning. Based on the current evidence, this person couldn't be the suspect, so I didn't mention it on my testimony. Specifically, why do you think this person couldn't be the suspect? The reason is simple, it's about timing. Let's review the content of the live stream. Okay, so she will argue that this is like the moment of the crime, like when the person died. But I don't think it's true. I think it's our theory of someone you know, or someone else passing out or trying to pass as like the victim. And this visitor left the community at like 5, 6. 56. This is easily resolved, I think. These two events occur almost simultaneously. He would have had no time to be involved in this case. And there's no third key for him to use. Still, only the defendant and the victim had the opportunity to enter B2. Let's say this person did enter B2, so what? The video has completely revealed the moment the defendant committed the crime, a fact that cannot be erased by any interference. Is that so? Then the incident of the defendant causing the death of the victim must never have happened. But this is like a theme in those courtroom games. It's really about like shifting your perspective, which is a specific skill that is very typical of those courtroom games. It's basically like reasoning by the absurd. Very good music also, I like it. If Bloom is truly innocent, then under what circumstances could these pieces of evidence have been left behind? When she entered the murder room wearing the mascot costume, who did she push down? What happened inside the house before she arrived? If I want to refute the police complete chain of evidence, I must have my own assertion. Okay. We don't need to discuss this person for now, based on the evidence provided by the police. Objection. The defense wants to present a new possibility to refute the police's claim. The new assertion of our side is: this video did not record the moment of the crime. The defendant in the video was someone else in disguise. No, I think this is true. The victim was still alive after being pushed off. No, the video did not record the moment of the crime. Why did this livestream video necessarily capture the exact moment of the crime? Let's consider a possibility. Pine Camel was already dead and it was his body that fell. Possible also, true. Then even if the defendant admitted that he pushed down the victim, it wouldn't constitute murder, right? Okay, that's her line of reasoning. I see. Are you saying the victim fell twice? No, Miss Lawyer, your speculation is solely based on your own argumentation. It remains within the realm of the imagination. Based on the traces at the scene, the most reasonable inference is that the victim fell only once. But it seems you can't prove the victim fell only once, can you? Yes, as Prosecutor Hush said, due to the same environment, height and posture falling, it would be difficult for the forensic experts to determine whether the victim fell once or twice. But the livestream video clearly captures the moment when the defendant pushed down the victim. I don't think there's a possibility of the victim falling twice. We believe the video contained a blind spot that we hadn't noticed before. It reveals a new possibility. This is like, there's a delay here of 2 minutes before that one. But we don't know who is falling. I'm not sure. I think this is the problematic one. Because we don't see who is falling. And there's no explicit like picture of the person in costume pushing like whatever is falling.
就是他。
At the moment the victim fell to the ground, there happened to be a screen in the scene blocking the view. You're right. We can't be sure whether the victim fell onto the altar table in this fall. Also true, yes. The position of that screen indeed obscured the view of the victim's fall. However, Miss Ray, even if the video isn't clear enough, your assertion still has fatal contradictions. The video records more than the defendant pushing the victim down. Just a moment before, this shivery camel in Spooky Shack had appeared on camera. If this live streamer was dead before the defendant entered, how do you explain this footage? So our assumption is that it's a case of twin identity. The inference here is crucial. Think it through before answering. Shivery Camel still appeared on camera in this live footage because okay, the translation is a bit weird. So the video was pre-recorded, I don't think it's the case anymore. The one live streaming was his dead body, of course not. But he is disguised by another person, or it's like another person is passing up as him in this live stream. Actually, it's quite simple. Very nice sprite. The body could have been hidden somewhere that was covered by the upper part of the screen and not captured on camera. So the person on camera must have been someone else in disguise as the victim during the live stream, which is kind of what we already, discussed. What? As you can see, the live environment was dim. Furthermore, the live stream was abruptly interrupted due to the murder case and only lasted for a short time. If it was just a brief disguise, it could go unnoticed. As we just found out, the person named Bombardier had the opportunity to enter the scene. Suppose Bombardier killed the victim earlier and then disguised as a victim for his live stream. Then the defendant wouldn't be the only suspect. Officer Falcon, what do you think of the defense reasoning? Well, for the sake of prudence, I cannot rule out this possibility. Since you both agree with my claim, our side hereby formally requests to summon Bombardier as a witness to testify in court. Wait, this visitor did come to the community on the day of the incident. I saw it with my own eyes and the police have investigated it. But it's impossible for someone like that to be disguised as the victim.
反对。
Good, I must seize that opportunity to counterattack. Please listen to me. Our side has repeatedly revealed key details affecting the case during questioning. Perhaps the defendant's eccentric personality and odd behavior are really troublesome. But under the impression that she is annoying, you inadvertently overlooked many facts favorable to her. Are you saying that my personal emotions cloud my judgment? Yes, I have to admit your testimony was logically sound and your emotions were well controlled. However, you were still influenced by preconceived impressions, showing a tendency to convict the defendant. Bombardier, come and nuke the court. Hopefully not. Hopefully this is not dual destinies. Bombardier clearly had the opportunity to commit the crime, yet you deliberately ignored it. If you continue, you will only present the testimony unfavorable to the defendant, right? Do not insist that this is impossible. Such biased remarks are inappropriate. Let's summon Bombardier. Maybe you hurt her detective's pride by saying it too frankly. Is she having a breakdown moment? If it were any other prosecutor, they would have objected and stopped you, but in this case, well, he's cooked. How could I make such a biased statement? This place is indeed not suitable for me anymore. I'm leaving now. Is she just leaving? She's just leaving. Officer Falcon ran so fast that the bailiffs couldn't catch up. She probably felt that her professional integrity was lacking and went for self-reflection. Just let her cool off for a while and it should be fine, I believe. Okay, so what should I do? Who can help summon the witness? While the defense is talking about Bombardier, it seems that this person should be summoned. Actually, I'm also curious to see how this person was disguised as the victim. Are you here for fun? Okay, let's summon the witness. Should be at work now. Luckily, the location isn't far from court. 20 minutes. Okay, we have a recess. Interesting. I mean, it's pretty straightforward for now, but I'm so tired. I knew you could make it, Luna. Don't count your chickens before they are hatched. We are still far from getting an acquittal. Luckily, the prosecutor is a weird old man who hardly objects. He reminds me of Professor Williams from our college days. Stop chatting. I got carried away. It's time for you to explain what you did in this case. The amount of freedom to leave and ability to be cooked in this session is impressive. This is true. You're so serious. You're unserious. Let's not waste time. Tell us what happened on the day of the incident. Let me think. I was going to interview Shivery Camel for materials and we agreed to meet at 5 in B2 of the Murder Mansion community. Okay, so just after like the video that we saw. The Murder Mansion community. He sent me a key with B2 written on it, so I suppose he wanted me to open the door myself. Okay. Why didn't he open the door for you? I think it's because he wanted to create a scenario where someone suddenly breaks in during the live stream to surprise the audience. So that's why she was in a costume, right? So Ghost Hunt live streamers need to plan things like that. Well, the door was a bit problematic and he couldn't leave it unlocked, so he had to give me the key in advance. That makes sense. So you dressed up in that mascot for... Okay. So of course I would play along and dress up as an evil god to meet him. In order to become a qualified evil god, I spent a lot of money ordering a custom-made costume. How expensive is that? It has to be, you know, at least 100 euro, but probably more if it's custom-made. It's probably like more like 1,000 to be fair. It's just a pity that I had too many diamonds, so the finished costume had some flaws. But after I entered, I didn't even make it down the stairs before stepping in some sticky liquid and taking a really bad fall. So she fell. She was the one falling here, right? Because she slipped up on whatever. So that's when the strange stuff got stuck in your costume. The furry community has inflated costume-made costume market. I mean, +2 probably. Gatekeeping, you know. Costumes from... to be fair, like all those hobbies, they are quite expensive, you know, if you're like in the furry community, if you want your fursona, if you're like in the cosplay community and you want like a good costume and you cannot do it yourself, it's really expensive. I even took a selfie in the mascot costume and sent it to his account. My phone was confiscated, so I can't show you the record. Interesting. Is she like, this is what it looks like. This is myself in that costume. What is she showing? The drawing is surprisingly vivid. A lot of effort to wear this thing before entering the community. So who's this shape? The police might interpret it as a murder threat. Wait. There's also a star on the costume, which is like slightly, you know, weird here, but interesting. Alright, have you disclosed everything to us? Well, she did not, but we don't have time. She's crazy, she's a bit too crazy. Is she always like this, even back in school? Even more so back then. Okay. Let's win. Huh. The trial will continue. Your name is Bombardier, right?
Yay!
Yay! Same eyes, though. Interesting. Interesting.
说的没错，本小姐就是大唐艺术园的导游马丝竹。
So true.
啊？为什么会是个汉服美女啊？
+2 汉服+2。
哎，本小姐不能是吗？等等，为什么没有人提前告诉我，这个马丝竹是个这样的人呢
She's crazy as well.
老夫还以为你早就知道了呢，所以才想看看他要怎么才能变装成死者。
Luna raised nose. I do feel like I've been played.
证人，这里是严肃的法庭，你怎么这副打扮就进来了？
I mean, why not?
这个主要是因为传唤比较匆忙。
毕竟人家的工作就是穿着汉服踩在不倒翁底座上摇摆，表演汉服不倒翁呀。
啊，怪不得他总是摇摇晃晃的。
What is she talking about? The prosecutor insisted I come over. Hearing there's business in court, I jumped off the base and ran over without even changing my clothes. So here I am. After swaying on the base for a few years, I've become light on my feet, and now I can walk without making any sound. There's like a joke here that cannot be translated, I think. Can't you just take a taxi here? Since I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, though I've come to the court, I still have to do my job as a tour guide. Join my impromptu performance. Feel free to donate if you can, or just enjoy the show. Money for mirth, bills for thrills.
等等，
Interesting. Okay. She's selling like hanfus. It's a bit crazy. Costume opera, mascot costume. I'm also skilled in handicrafts. The outfits I wear are all made by myself, ensuring exquisite and no waste of materials. Huh. Interesting. Seeing this witness in person, it seems like what Officer Falcon said was correct. It's impossible for her to disguise herself as the victim for the live stream, right? Appeal for being hot. Appeal to being hot fallacy. I mean... Okay. Based on the previous proceeding, we suspect that on the day of the incident, August 8th, you may have entered the crime scene. Can you tell us what you did yesterday? I mean, you're cooked, Arthur, so it's fine. Witness, please testify as requested. Very nice also side note here. I did swing by this community that day to gather inspiration. The houses there, all in Chinese style, Onday, the boss at the park, asked me to observe and learn something. I finished my shift at the park around 2 2 and rushed over there around 2:30. Correct. I left before 5 because I had to get back for the night shift and I didn't step inside any of the house during that time. Interesting. This is probably where we want to press. The witness's performance seemed pretty good, right? She's crazy. He's crazy. This brief testimony seems fine. What should I do next? Well, we need to press. New information by pressing, and so on and so on. Okay. There's nothing here interesting. The house is... I mean, okay.
等等，
When you say the park, you mean the Great Tong Art Park, right? Yes. Okay, she's just, you know, poking for her park. Very corporate, though. Is at the park of a market. I also do some part-time gig promoting at the mall. Sometimes I mix them up. Interesting. There's nothing here probably interesting because it just matches what we know, but I'm interested in that. Like, what do you mean by I didn't step inside any of the houses during that time?
等等，
You left before 5, so that's just about 2 hours. During that time, you were just investigating. Of course, 2 hours is far from enough to inspect so many houses there. If you firmly believe this witness may have been in and out of the crime scene, you need to ask her for more information. What exactly did you inspect? Can you share it with us? My competitor, she's just crazy. Okay. It might be tricky if there's any confidentiality agreements related to the park. Do you still want the witness to share? I mean, yes. This is a major murder case, so confidentiality agreements and similar contracts should not make exceptions in such serious matters. There's a lot of mention about procedure and justice in here, which is, I guess, like the theme of the game. Okay, Zone B was amazing. There were so many ancient mentions. This is false. We know that there's not a lot. What do we have to... Security to check all 3 mansions in this community to prevent the accident. So we know that there's not a lot of houses here. So let's just let's send that.
反对，
Can I interrupt your explanation? Is there something you don't understand? You claim that you got absorbed in Zone B because there were so many ancient mansions, right? Yes. But the registration form for Zone B shows that there are only 3 houses in the entire area. What do you mean by so many? What took you over 2 hours to inspect? 3 houses? If you're not even aware of this, it indicates that you didn't really explore the community. Witness, please answer my question. Could it be that you spent over 2 hours inside B2 the entire time?
反对。
Let me check. The mansion closest to the entrance. Well, it's B2. I'm sorry, I did enter B2. What's going on? You just claimed that you never stepped into any houses, making false statements and court carries consequences. It's not like that. There's a reason for it. There was a murder case in B2. I was afraid of being suspected, so please forgive me. Interesting the way she...
反对！
Lying about not entering the crime scene is a serious case of perjury, and there's no excuse for that. Her behavior is weird. I don't know if she's faking it or if she's like... not, you know, if she's innocent here.
反对！
You have to be honest in court. Why object when you agree with me? Very funny, this is an ace attorney, you know. Moment. I hope you can explain it right away. When did you enter B2 that day, and what did you do there? Oh, you're so fierce. I'm a big fan of Shivery Camel. Wasn't he live streaming in B2 that day? I was watching it on my phone. Since I happened to be here for inspection, it felt like fate. So I immediately went there to wait for him, to meet him offline. The stalking. But how did you get in without a key? So I picked the lock, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, this is not possible. Wasn't that illegal trespassing? I know what I did was wrong, but I really wanted to see Shivery Camel, and besides, no one was living there. He still belongs to the owner of the community. The witness's actions should be held accountable. But let's focus on the current case for now. Witness, please continue. So after I went inside, I saw that he had already started live streaming and was fully focused. I was afraid that if I walked over, I might accidentally appear in the frame. So I quickly opened the door and left without doing anything at all. Well, multiple lies here, but... I think our explanation for entering B2 is strange. As an influencer, many fans would specifically come to hunt for me. That's because they... What is she talking about? Witness, please stick to the topic. When I say strange, I mean your act of picking the lock and entering B2 for Shivery Camel. And what's wrong with that? Aren't we supposed to present evidence when speaking in court? Evidence, well, as you wish. The evidence that proves you couldn't have picked the lock to enter B2 is... Oh, we use 2 here, so they're kind of using like the gauge system here, to be fair. So here, because no sign of lockpicking on the door.
就是他！
You said you picked the lock to enter B2 and reopened the door to leave when you saw the victim live streaming, right? Well, yes. Unfortunately, the witness's statement is a complete lie. Everyone, do you remember this piece of evidence? Oh, the faulty lock from the crime scene. Why are you still confused when even the judge seems to understand? I don't think the judge is very slow, but like the judge is very slow in the Ace Attorney games. If you want to enter the house by the only entrance on the 2nd floor, you must use the external stairs. The 2nd floor door, being the only entrance and exit to the crime scene, was thoroughly investigated by the police. Officer Falcon provided us with a detailed explanation of the situation regarding this door lock. And now we know it's faulty, and the police saw that there was no evidence of forced entry. In other words, you couldn't have entered B2 by picking the lock, let alone opening the door and leaving on your own. Excellent questioning. There's an even more intriguing question here. This witness, after the first lie, I was like trying to find a question, but like, after the first lie was exposed, immediately admitted to having entered B2 before. However, she immediately concocted another complete lie. What does this indicate? I think it's clear. Miss Ray is right, but what does this lie from the witness indicate? She did enter the scene, but what she truly wants to conceal is the method of entry. There are no signs of forced entry, and there are only 2 keys, one with the victim and one with the defendant, meaning that you had to come with one of them. But we know that Plum came near the end, so you had to come with Camel. She came from the window. There's no window. So she had to come with Camel, and she was probably, I don't know, setting up things with him, preparing for the live stream, something like that. Could it be the victim himself opened the door for you with a key? Possible also.
反对！
I'm a bit confused. Why would the victim personally open the door for the witness? Well, they know each other. They have to know each other to some extent. Even if I want to claim that the witness is problematic, I still need to figure out her relationship with the victim first. Why would the victim open the door for her? So, yeah, shifting perspectives. What was the victim doing in B2 when he opened the door, setting up things for the live stream? I guess you're like you came here to set up things, and we know that like Plum was also here like to set up the sort of breaking in. So probably she came here to do some, delivering some handicrafts or whatever she was cooking, maybe, this ghost here, I don't know. You seem to have got an answer. Then tell us, why did the victim personally open the door for the witness? Bambudia was the live stream assistant, deliver food, all the acquaintances, she is the assistant. Because Bambudia was Pine Camel's live stream assistant. Is that so? Do you have any evidence to support it? Oh, I know. Because of that. She had to be here. And we can see like, oh, I did not even check that earlier, but there's a hand here and this is her hand. Interesting. Don't be nervous. Take a good look at the exhibit and okay. Do I have evidence to support that Bambudia was Pine's Camel live stream assistant? I do. So we present the poster, and we need to present the hand. Is the promotional poster of Shiveri's... This is a good evidence, to be fair. I did miss that, like on the first look. The promotional poster that proves Bambudia was Pine Camel's live stream assistant. Actually, I was thinking about it during investigation yesterday. How do the so-called ghost hunt live streamer become popular? There are many gloomy and terrifying places in the world. They can find a lot of so-called haunted houses with a thorough search. But the streamers should be aware that the so-called ghost doesn't exist in reality. Well, if you already know that, why were you so scared before the trial? Anyway, I don't believe in ghosts either, but what does it have to do with a ghost hunt live streamer? What I mean is, since there are no real ghosts, if a ghost hunting live streamer wants to create value during their live stream, they need helpers. Otherwise, how could a streamer always encounter scary paranormal events at gloomy places? In this poster, there is the front picture of Pine Camel, also known as Shivery Camel in Spooky Shack. And as I said, in order to create the effect that he is surrounded by paranormal phenomena, he needs an assistant, and this assistant has left traces in the poster. So the suspicion... This is good. I really did not check that. I mean, it was pretty obvious, but I think I'm also a bit tired today. Okay, So this is the critical part. Yes, I'm ready. It looks like to be whatever. Though the poster maker tried to hide it, there's still an untrimmed hand. It means that there are at least 2 people that were involved in the making of the poster. It implies one thing. Chivalry Camel in Spooky Shack. This account was actually run by a team of at least 2 people. Pine Camel appeared in the live stream, and the other one created the spooky atmosphere and paranormal events behind the camera. Am I right, witness? Even though you still choose to remain silent.
反对！
But I don't understand. Wasn't the one dressed as a ghost at the scene the defendant? She looked much more like a ghost in that costume than the witness. Wait, Prosecutor Hush reminds me. If that's the case, the defendant mentioned in her testimony that she had to rush back to work at night, so she left before 5 p.m. and that's why he needed another person. If so, the assistant to create a spooky atmosphere was gone, and the defendant happened to appear at that time. Given that she had contacted with the victim and agreed to meet there might be another reason to meet beside collecting materials. He needed another person to create a spooky atmosphere in place of Bombardier, who had gone to work at the park at that time. The reasoning sounds strange, but it does explain the defendant's odd behavior. Do you agree with your lawyer's inference? Well, do I need to agree? It's right. You really don't care about your verdict, do you? Your Honor, it doesn't matter if my client agrees or not. The point is the witness's attitude. She hasn't explained why she appeared at the crime scene that day. I can't say anything. Well, keeping silent now is just useless. To confirm whether the witness collaborated with the victim, the defense suggests that the police do one thing. Please immediately conduct a thorough search of the scene to check if there are the witness's fingerprints or DNA. If she did collaborate with the victim, there must be traces left. Yeah, you can really do that. I'll contact the police at the scene. Thank you, my king. Wait. I already sent a text message. You guys really leave me no choice. Alright, I'll admit it. You know that I'm short of money, so I work multiple jobs at the same time. Streaming with Chivalry Camel and helping him create the atmosphere was also one of them. Because I'm good at handicrafts, I often help him make some ghostly props. How many jobs are you doing at the same time? Hey, this is for money. Please, trust me. Well, since you were the victim's collaborator, you were quite familiar with each other, right? We were friends, I think. I've been helping out since his debut, but getting caught doing these supernatural tricks would be embarrassing. That's why I don't want to say. She's crazy. The defendant's reason for concealing her actions seems somewhat reasonable. Defense, what do you think? We still believe that the witness's role in this case is highly suspicious. If she was very close to the victim, there would be 2 problems. First, there might have been conflicts between them that were unknown to others, which would have generated a motive. And more importantly, there is an unavoidable possibility now, since you work closely with him in B2 and are very familiar with his appearance and actions. Even with a big difference in appearance, you could still have impersonated him to continue the live stream after his death. I mean, yeah, I guess. I just spent a little time with him in B2 before 4:30, just a little. I left shortly after that. Chivalry Camel's live stream was paused for a while in the afternoon, right? That was when he used his key to open the door and send me out. Because I didn't I hadn't inspected the building yet. I had to walk around a little bit before leaving, or else I'll get scolded by my other boss. The victim's live stream started at 3 p.m. and was in the pause from 3:52 to 4:30. The one who continued the live stream after 2:30 was Shivery Camel himself, because I had to rush back to the park to clock in. But this is wrong, because she left afterwards. There's a gap of like 26 minutes. Do you have any evidence that proves that the person continued live stream after 4:30 was the victim himself instead of you? She does. I will tell you everything I remember this time. Okay. I was indeed working for Shivery Camel, and at the same time, I was one of his most loyal fans. I remember during the live stream, he was holding his phone in one hand and writing with the other. And he accidentally tumbled. You can check the place where he tumbled. This is problematic, right? How can you... Oh no, maybe it works. If I remember correctly, not long after... No, wait. Doesn't make sense. Well, if I remember correctly, not long after Shivery Camel got up, a grilled octopus rushed in. If you insist that Shivery Camel in the livestream was me, then what about the traces on the floor? They can't be mine, right? What is she talking about? I had left B2 at that time and watched the livestream on my phone outside. So what I saw is the same as what everyone else saw. I remember that video the witness mentioned. Have we already seen the crucial content in court? Yes, but we didn't pay attention to whether the streamer had tumbled. DNA testing is highly sophisticated technology, so it is unlikely to be falsified. What do you think of her testimony? Well, she didn't accuse Plum as the murderer nor admitted to impersonate the victim. Maybe she really has some tricks to get through the test safe and sound. I sent a text message to have the police search the scene. Okay, so what's the report? The police did find a small dot of blood at the spot where the streamer tumbled in the video. They immediately extracted DNA and conducted a preliminary comparison with the victims. It can be confirmed that the blood was from the victim. Okay, this is annoying. He already... I don't know. I'm missing something here, but... The blood and the traces of the tumbling are intertwined, which makes it very difficult to be falsified. It confirms that from 4:30 to 4:54, the streamer was indeed Pine Camel himself. Wait. There's a trick here, I can't... Do you still insist that the witness once impersonated the victim to continue the live stream? How could there be evidence like that? But the DNA test has made the impersonation completely impossible. Is there still a loophole in the testimony? Sorry. Okay, think. Let's press like the suspicious things. Okay, about the tumbling.
No.
First, why did he write during the live stream? If I remember correctly, it's because he was so scared, the audience persuaded him to write a paper seal to ward off evil spirits. Did it really work? Obviously not, or he wouldn't have tumbled right after writing it and ended up dead. So why did he suddenly stumble? I didn't see it clearly. Might have been the cluttered furniture and the dim environment that caused him to trip, especially if he wasn't paying attention. Yeah, okay. You can check the places where it tumbled. There must be some traces, right? If I remember correctly, not long after Sherry Camel got up, a grilled octopus rushed. What?
等等，
The grilled octopus you mentioned. Was this person in the video? It was her. I watched the same video as you, but I had already left by then. I was merely a viewer of Shivery Camel's live stream. I don't know for sure if that grilled octopus was the person in the defendant's seat.
等等，
According to the DNA test result from the scene, the blood did belong to the victim Pine Camel. Is it possible that the blood was actually fabricated afterwards? I mean, the police not only extracted the blood but also found slight scratches on the floor. These traces all match perfectly with those on the spot where the victim tumbled. In other words, it is impossible to fabricate such a scene unless it's made by an extremely skilled forensic expert. Huh. I'm missing something. When questioning reaches a deadlock, not pushing forward is also a strategy. What do you think? If you feel like you can't make any progress in questioning, do you want to stop it first? Perhaps breaking out of the mindset provided by the witness could lead us to a new way of thinking. So I have a choice of like, this is a new mechanic, this is not in Ace Attorney. So if I think I cannot like break through the testimony, I just like give up. Let's see what it does. I mean, it's a tutorial case, so I think, you know, it's what is expected of us. This testimony is supported by evidence. Simply questioning it won't break through. But I just can't accept it. So what can I do? The omission in Officer Falcon's testimony has already been pointed out. No need for further discussion. A thorough search of the scene again. But without a clear direction for the search, the request will surely be rejected. Well, the defense is a bit cooked right now. He's popping off! He's popping off now. The prosecutor Hush certainly has the interest to debate. Let's call it the confrontation in court. Okay, so this is like the mechanic of this game, the big mechanic. Confrontation between me and him. Oh, so is it like investigations? Despite his age, he's still acting like a young man in times like this. Court confrontations are a tradition passed down from previous generations. It's a verbal battle between lawyers and prosecutors. Listen carefully. He will likely present several logical arguments to challenge you. But even the best laid plans can go awry. You must find the loopholes in his arguments to refute. Though refuting doesn't require evidence to support, it's better to check the evidence you have before starting. If you choose an argument you can refute, you'll immediately suffer a blow to your momentum. Besides, if you do nothing and simply let the other side speak, your momentum will also diminish. Oh, so it's like investigation with the chess piece in the second game, right? We're already at a disadvantage. If our momentum is depleted, the judge might immediately verdict. In the confrontation, you won't have time to review arguments or check the exhibit. You must seize the right moment. Okay, so investigation too, I understand. Seeing is believing. This is an inevitable confrontation in the court. Good luck. So time-sensitive thing. I know that a lot of persons were kind of like afraid by like the time-based mechanic in Investigation 2, because you don't have time again to review your elements. You really need to have like a good grasp on the case immediately. And I think it's nice. I understand. Though the idea of a one-on-one confrontation is a bit worrying, I think I can have a try. After all, my opponent is just this old man. Okay. During the confrontation, the prosecutor will present several arguments. Oh, so it's also like closer maybe to Danganronpa to some extent, which will proceed automatically with the voice. Within these arguments, there will be words highlighted in red for your attention. So, okay, this is Danganronpa. If you find errors, refute them by clicking the refute button. If your refutation is correct, the plot will continue. Check the top right corner to see which argument you're currently on. After all the arguments are presented, it will restart from the beginning. You have an additional momentum during the confrontation. If you refute a wrong argument or fail to refute, you will lose some momentum. HP will only be deducted after your momentum is completely depleted. Successful refutation will restore your momentum, so just do it. Okay. So a mix of, I don't know, investigation slash Danganronpa. Okay. No music? What is happening in here? I'm trying to save, but like I think it's stuck. This is like worrying because we don't have we haven't saved yet. And I think I'm stuck. Nothing is happening in here. Is this interesting? We have like an autosave, but well, let's go to the title screen here. We have an autosave just before. Don't know why there was no sound. And even like going on the title screen, like the game is struggling. Okay, let me launch the game again. To be fair, this is like the normal way to do like with autosaves and stuff. I think like playing, you know, modern games, I'm not used to like save as much as I did when I was younger. And like a lot of retro games, you do them in like one sitting, so you just cannot save. So it's loading. It's like behind my model, but it's loading. Okay. We're still stuck here for some reason. Is this normal? It's not normal, right? You should not struggle like that. This is very anticlimactic. I was almost getting, you know, I was getting into it. So I don't know what's the problem here. I can use a previous like okay, so that was the thing. And we say that like here we would just like drop the questioning, and this is where we do the confrontation. Hopefully we can, you know, just go through very quickly. It's the same thing, but like we are stuck in here now. What is happening with this game? I don't know. I can't even like enter the menu. Or I can, but E? What is happening? We'll never know. Oh, I don't want to stop in here. I don't want to deal with like technical issues, not like in the middle of the stream and not being able to progress. This is like very anticlimactic. I'm sad. I don't know. It can't be like the language issue. Like, what is wrong here? Is this a problem because I'm streaming at the same time? I don't know. It will be weird, but I'll go in full screen. Let me like resize the game capture. I'm not sure it's a problem because I play in full screen, but who knows? I should do a save like also before we enter in the confrontation.
等等，
I'll do a save in here, probably. Okay. Okay. We go through the tutorial. And is it working or not? So we are getting there, but then we are stuck. I can like open some things, but I don't know why it's doing that. Let me check like on if people have this issue, Trials of Innocence. Okay, so it seems to be like a problem that is kind of generalized, and there's a workaround. So wait, open setting. Oh wait, do I need to... Oh, this is a bit crazy. Wait, okay. So this is like a problem in... I thought they were talking about the settings of the game, but they are not. Like, it's the setting of the of the computer. Like, you need to... Wait. You need to change like your language, the language of your system. But I'm already in... Oh no, you also need to change... Oh, I see that. Okay. Because my computer is in English, but I'm obviously having like French as a region because that's where I live. But it seems that you need to change like the regional format and you need to put that in... I don't know, English. So, okay, so we have changed that. And so now, probably it should work. Trust. Interesting. I love having issues. Also, I don't like playing in full screen when I'm streaming at the very least. So I'll do some changes back. Give me 2 seconds so I can like resize everything. There you are, more or less. It's not exactly something like this. Okay, so now we are back. I hope that we are back. I love streaming.
既然你已
OK
无话可说，那老夫就要做总结陈词了。要是不服气，就来与
So I
我
won't
论战
read
一
because I
番
need to
吧。
focus since it's timing based, but
好，您的挑
and you
战
have some dubs.
我
So
接受了。
到目前为止，你没有证据可以表明镜头中的不是死者本人。
it's true.
视频里有着死者被被告推下的画面，这不就是所谓
I can't really
铁
like
证如
object
山？
against that, I guess, but
而这位证人，他行踪明确，并且16点
Yes,
56
that's
分
true.
就登记离开，应该是没有下手的机会吧？
we don't know.
反对！证人只留下了一个离开的时间，其余时段的行为都是空白。
Exactly. There's like a gap
在这种情况下，根本无法证明他没有作案机会
of。like exactly.
反对！现场血迹的 DNA 检测已经查出来是属于死者了，
But only the yes.
这不就说明了这位马小姐没有参与案件吗？
反对！
It's not
我们申请
necessarily
让警
about
方调查
like
现场，原本的目
impersonation
的
now.
是确认马思竹是否留有痕迹，
Exactly.
而警方发回调查
But when
结
the
果
police
时，
send back
并没有否认他
investigation
参与案件
results,
的可能性。
they did not rule out the possibility of involvement in the case. I do agree.
在这种情况下，我方无法认可您将他参与案件的可能性排除在外。
I like the music.
这似乎也有一些道理。
Okay.
不对，老夫想明白了，小姑娘，你的主张还是站不住脚。
No, I'm pretty happy with my grasp of the case. We should try to like find like an explanation probably. I think like now our theory is like hinging on this selfie. What does that mean? My problem is this thing here. There's like this figure here and it's hard to, you know, is this a selfie with like, I don't know. There's like this star is like conspicuous and it is different from the costume. So there's probably 2 different costumes. I don't understand why. she did not have like any stars like on her jewelry. So there's no stars in here. So what's the... I don't know. I believe we have like a good enough grasp of the case to just like power through
无
it.
论证人做过什么，16点54分的视频和 DNA 检测都能证明，当时死者还活着。
The victim was still alive at the time. So he means like when we see like the victim coming back
难
in
道
the
你想主
frame.
张证人在2分钟内就能完成杀人、藏尸和
I
逃
don't think it's
跑
possible.
那老夫宁愿怀疑警方的 DNA 检测有疏漏，说不定可能性还大一些。
There's problems.
小姑娘，差不多就认输吧，
What?
输给老夫不丢人。
Is there a problem in the test, in the DNA? Okay, we have time to think. We have time to think right now. Is there a problem in the DNA test? There is no trace of the traces where he fell. But wait, he's falling with a stick. It's his blood. It is his blood. No, we understand that. We under. Can it be her? Can it still be her? It is his blood. It is his blood. No, wait. Wait. This is the crime scene. He fell. He fell, that's for sure. But he probably fell like at the beginning of the day. And then he's putting like a band-aid. If we agree that like this fall was staged, like he's bleeding, they're bleeding before falling. And we can say that maybe this is like blood taken from like the first fall. Which would explain why the DNA is consistent with like the mark. I mean, the location of the fall is consistent with like the traces left on the floor. So it's not that the police is making like made a mistake. It's just that the DNA test, and she was confident that the traces would go well for her, that the DNA test would go well for her from Bombardier. So probably, yeah, she took like some blood and put that like on her knee, faked a fall, so that she could like say, oh, just take a test and you'll see that you'll find his DNA. Okay, so we need to, okay.
无论证人做过什么，
So we want to
那
refute
老夫
that.
宁愿怀疑。
反对！您这倒是提醒我了。警方的 DNA 检测，在一些特定的状况下，的确会有所遗漏。这就是为何我们经常会当庭要求警方提供见证技术的帮助，因为在审理进行的过程中，我们会随时发现案件的全新方向。
Yeah.
反对！照你这么说，你是在怀疑警方提供的检测结果
Yeah, there is.
有问题了？要质疑警方弄虚作假，这可是不小的指控，而且也得拿到真凭实据再说。
有理解我的意思。我所指的遗漏，其实并不是检测结果作假，
The conditions.
而是一些极其少见的情况，会让我们对
The
检测
text
结
is
果有所误判。
badly laid out, I think. It's hard to see over her white clothes, but...
这老
But I
师
like the
实在
ambience
是
in
听不
general.
懂了。辩护方，不如就请你指点一下吧。警方在 DNA 检测结果中可能存在的遗漏到底是什么？
The police loophole is that wait, it doesn't matches with what we are saying. So are we back in the twin? Are we back in the twin theory? Which like makes sense to be honest, but you know, they look somewhat alike. They took the wrong DNA sample. No, because they check at the location of the fall. They compared the DNA sample to the wrong person. No. So this is a match because we are back into the... We are back into the twin territory. Okay.
就是他，在一些特定的情况下，两个人是可以拥有完全一致的 DNA 的。
什么？
什么？
真的有这种事吗？看来老夫没能一口气拿下胜利呀。
Yeah, it's more like about rhetoric than you know, formal evidence presenting, I guess. So this is okay for a tutorial like mechanic. I mean, the tutorial of the mechanic. I think it's like pretty interesting. Not long ago, there was a report in foreign news about a murder case committed by twins. I heard about it in a lecture. It was the world's first judicial case to use technology to distinguish between identical twins in a crime. It was studied as a special case by police forces around the world, ultimately promoting the development of forensic technology. So, where the judiciary of our country, as a judge, I have attended related lectures. So very deep into like procedural thingies, even if it has, you know, the flair of Ace Attorney. I think like that was the mistake of, you know, the second trilogy, trying to go for the procedural aspect of what justice is with the jury system and all, and they just didn't know what to do with that. But if you're using it as an example, does it mean? Yes, if the witness and the victim were actually identical twins, the DNA would be identical as well.
反对。
These identical twins you mentioned, can they really have different sexes? Well, they can, right? The principle of identical twins formation is that a single fertilized egg splits into two embryos during development. All chromosomes in these two embryos are identical, including the sex chromosomes, although there have been indeed extremely rare cases of opposite sex identical twins in medical practice. In such cases, the female embryo usually does not develop completely, and she would be much shorter than the average people when grown up. But the witness figures look quite normal. Oh, wait. This is a trans woman. This sure? This is just a trans woman. +2. Pride Month. Defense, tell me what exactly you're claiming. If I want to claim that Bambudia's DNA matches Pines camels, I must address the problem raised by Chief. This time I must think of her thoroughly before answering. We believe that the witness... I mean, obviously they won't tell that like outright, right? So they say it's like disguised. But you know what it means, like, you know, like this is a Chinese game. There's like, it must be like CCP compliant, so... I mean, the ascended take is to say like, those two answers are the same. Those two answers here are basically the same. Because it doesn't pertain to the discussion, I believe. Like, okay, they are just related, and then like the actual sex or gender, but that's kind of the same thing for, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I would like to answer... Well, we don't know of their circumstances. Maybe, you know, this is just, you know, a drag. We don't know. We just don't know. But I guess the game is kind of like waiting for us to say that we allow CCP safe answers here. +2 question mark. Okay, so let's just take the first, and, you know, in our head, you can have your own, like, headcanon. It's fine. After careful consideration, our side came to a conclusion which may seem absurd. Is it possible that the witness... Normally this is not like a question, but like, again, Chinese game, is actually a trans woman. A trans woman Miss Ray, are you serious about what you said? Yes, I know it sounds up. To be fair, we cannot say that. We can't say that because we're assuming that, you know, we don't know. Because that's the problem. And this is not a problem at the same time. English doesn't have like gender for first pronouns. So you get a little bit more of leeway in the way you're presenting yourself, I guess. Which is like, some languages, you can choose like first pronouns or certain like particles, conjugations that will like indicate gender. And in a certain way, it helps like to really know how to address a certain person in that particular language. But right now we're in a situation where the English like translation doesn't help us to get an idea of what is going on here. No personal pronouns, +2 to be honest, probably. I don't know, I love personal pronouns. The traces on the victim's body does not indicate that he experienced a secondary fall after death. Moreover, there happens to be a blind spot in the video of the victim's fall, which makes it more difficult to discern the truth. If the victim had already died at an earlier time, and later it was the witness who disguised as him to stream, everything would be explained. But it was the witness who disguised as the streamer and fell during the live stream, and yet the scene has the victim's DNA. The only explanation I can think of is that the witness happens to be the victim's identical twin. What's your response? I know it's impossible to detect the person's DNA in the courtroom, but verifying your gender is very easy. The forensic expert confirmed your gender now. What the heck? It doesn't matter, you don't have to check things. We don't do that like anymore in 2025, and this is not something that you can ask someone.
对。
难道你打算强行拒绝？
Ah yeah, okay.
什么？
Like this.
肃静，肃静！证人， 你这是
This is a reference to Ace Attorney 1, obviously.
审判长，还有各位，请看，这位证人不但露出了男性形象，虽然面色苍白，但是和死者洛海松长得不是一模一样吗？
I don't know. I wasn't expecting that to be like, that kind of like disguise. This is a bit, again, I do understand Chinese game, CCP safe, but
我承认就是了。我和死者洛海松，我们两个的确是一对双胞胎兄弟。
survived an explosion accident many years ago and we grew up together in an orphanage. To be fair, are we in the situation? Is it a murder? I'm not even sure it's a murder case anymore. I'm kind of like... But why would you like mask it as a murder? When we were young, I was adopted by the Diaz. That's why our family names were different. We didn't live together, we still kept in touch. I see. But witness, why did you conceal this information? Are you trying to deceive the court and hide your suspicion of murder? I didn't kill anyone. Before coming to court, Is this like an accident? Is it just an accident? Before coming to court, I truthfully provided my personal information. Given my physical condition, I can't get the job at the park. I have no choice if I want to earn money. I've explained it to Mr. Prosecutor and he agreed. No, okay, so quite based, actually. He is based. He is just based. It's like the best prosecutor in the court game, courtroom game. Interesting. Oh no, he's just oblivious. I thought like he was just based, but no, he's just oblivious. But maybe he's based either way. So I think, okay, this is like, is it like a suicide? No, it's not a suicide. Is it an accident or a murder? Did you ever impersonate the victim and conduct a live stream at the scene? I didn't impersonate my brother. You might fool a confused old man like me, but it's far from enough to convince the lawyer you're facing. Please allow me to testify again, and I'll reveal the truth of that day. I don't know what is happening right here. This is a very interesting first case, but I'm not sure what I'm thinking about it. I was a younger twin brother, okay. That doesn't mean I impersonate him, okay. The haunted house only had one entrance on the second floor, and the key was always with him and never taken off when he died. My brother made an appointment with a novelist and gave her the other key, which she has had since then. If I had impersonated Shivery Camel and conducted the live stream, I would have had to stay there until the novelist arrived. True. The novelist, despite wearing a mascot costume, confidently barged in, just like in the video. If I tried to get out, I would definitely run into her face to face, and she would have seen me. I don't have a cloak of invisibility, and the novelist is not blind, so your inference doesn't make any sense. To portray a distinctive influencer tour guide. If I didn't pretend, the park probably wouldn't have hired me. It's quite tough to make a living. Well, +2 then. I mean, this is kind of like, it's less about like trans identity, I guess, and more about drag. I don't know. The witness mentioning you several times in his testimony just now, and at the same time you were trapped at the crime scene. Did you see the witness there? No, I didn't see him at all. The costume blocked your vision. No, it didn't, because it's you can see like in every direction, they show? Indeed, it's difficult to walk in that costume, but my vision is the same as when I'm not wearing it. I tripped purely because I stepped on something. Allow for clear vision inside, but walking in is quite challenging. Okay. I struggle quite a bit to put it on. What is he talking about? The structure of its leg is stiff and you can only walk towards the front of the costume. he tried it. You can't take it off by yourself. It really gave me my old ways a hard time. Okay. This is likely to be the last testimony of today's trial. Are you prepared? I am prepared? I don't know. Okay, let's think. When I the yoga twin, etc., nothing important. The haunted house only had one entrance on the second floor, and the key was always with him and never taken off when he died. Yeah? Made an appointment with a novelist and gave her the other key. Yes. If I had impersonated Shivery Camel and conducted the live stream, I would have had to stay there until the novelist arrived. I don't see the problem there. The novelist, despite wearing a mascot wait. There's nothing here. The novelist, despite wearing a mascot costume. Is there a case where there are two costumes? Sorry. If I tried to go out, I would definitely run into her face to face. Okay, true.
等等，
You mean you didn't have a key, so you would definitely run into the definite one leaving? Yes. You can clearly see the front of the mascot costume. In the live, doesn't prove that definite entered front first. Wait. Oh, this is not what I wanted to do. This is not what I wanted to do. Front first, but there's nothing in here. There's two costumes. Something is wrong. Something is wrong here. Despite wearing a mascot costume, completely barged in, just like in the video. Where is this thing? Is this where we present that? Where is this star in here? We have not found it in any of like the other documents.
反对！
But the conclusion is rather strange. I do agree. She anticipated the situation when she insisted on giving me this thing. She's secretly very smart. Defense. Oh, why did you object but not speak? Everyone, please look at this item.
反对！
Why are you also starting to mess around in the courtroom? So you were messing around before. I'm not messing around. The witness said that if he was hiding in the room, the defendant would definitely see him upon entering. After all, wearing the costume wouldn't have obstructed the front view. No, okay, she's going for like a weird conclusion, a weird like temporary conclusion to kind of like bullshit her way through by arguing that like the defendant was entering the room backwards. We know it's not possible, but I think she's like kind of arguing that for the sake of at least demantling that particular testimony, which is very Ace Attorney to be fair. But this is only true under normal circumstances. Please take a look at this drawing. This abstract drawing is a selfie of the defendant Plum Swift. Since her phone has been confiscated by the police, we can only use this drawing as an illustration. This selfie was taken when she arrived at the community entrance and was sent to Chivalry Camel Online. Although the style of this drawing is quite enigmatic, it contains an important piece of information. I don't see it. So we want to point out the star, obviously. Before addressing the issue, I'd like to ask everyone a question. When taking a selfie, naturally you would point the camera towards your own face, right? Occasionally I take selfies too. The selfie in question naturally represents the front view for the defendant. Well then, please take a look at this place. It appears to be a pentagram. Is there an issue with that? The problem is that there's a pentagram here. After all, the actual front view of the mascot costume doesn't have this pattern. The defendant even drew the surrounding pedestrians and greenery, so she wouldn't add something that didn't exist. Please check that mascot costume. Confirm that there is such a pentagram on it. There's such a pattern. It's on the back of the costume. So what? But you can't walk backwards with this costume. It's an elder sign. The Lord Evil God looks so cute because of the seal. What is she talking about? The defendant only drew something that was already in the costume itself, so there's no contradiction, right? There's a huge contradiction. The thing that this pentagram is on the back of the costume proves something astonishing. The defendant wore the mascot costume backwards. This is why the pattern from the back appeared in Plum's front-facing selfie.
反对！
Whether the pattern on the costume is drawn correctly does not prove anything. After all, it is just a subjective drawing. It is possible that the defendant misremembered the details and added them on her own. How can I verify if she wore it backwards? This drawing originates from the defendant's selfie. It can be verified as long as the police take out the phone of Plum Swift. There's a photo, na. Okay, so that was this, okay. There isn't much difference between the selfie and the drawing. The user who sent this picture via private message is named Withered Plum, and real name verification shows that it is a defendant. And there's a sentence that's, okay, Cthulhu draws is coming to devour. Since this has been verified by the police, it can serve as evidence in court. At 4:37. Okay. I still don't get it. If the defendant wore the costume backwards, what difference does it make? It makes a huge difference. This fact will completely change the meaning of the evidence. The witness stated the defendant would have definitely seen him inside the room. But if Plum Swift wore the costume backwards, the significance of this evidence will completely change. Oh, we got like our things back. Here, we want that.
就是他。
Please watch this video. It clearly captures the defendant wearing the mascot costume. Take a closer look. In this footage, the front of the costume was clearly captured. Indeed, that outfit, as the witness said, allows for clear vision inside, but walking is quite challenging. So this is the thing, yeah. Towards the front of the costume. So she was not in the costume. Once we put on this costume correctly, we can only move towards the direction the costume is facing. Now imagine what would happen if that costume is worn backwards. The defendant could only move backwards. Exactly. Only in that way could the defendant move normally. Prosecutor Hush has personally tried it on. Once this costume is put on, it cannot be taken off by oneself. Even if the defendant realized she wore it backwards, she wouldn't be able to switch it back before meeting the victim. And unlike insects, humans have only two eyes facing forward. Please look at this image. If the defendant entered the crime scene in a normal state, her field of view should have been like this. In that case, her vision would have been directed forward. Anyone inside the house who tried to leave would undoubtedly be noticed. Okay, so it's even more crazy than what I thought. Like, they are arguing that, no, this is her in the costume, but she was just like walking backward, and that's why she fell. However, if the defendant was in the state I just mentioned, and so she was the one falling, probably. And after opening the door, she had to turn her body and enter in this state. From the moment the defendant entered the door, the front of the costume was an absolute blind spot. And on a platform with a void below, it is only natural for people to turn their vision downwards to confirm their height. At this moment, the person hiding inside the house could easily evade her field of vision and leave. Let's recall the statements of the witness since he entered the court. After swaying on the base for a few years, I've become like, yeah, I guess. His footsteps are light, nearly silent while walking, and he is knowledgeable about various customs. Both factors prove that the witness was able to leave the scene in the way we mentioned before, under the defendant's nose. What do you think about the method raised by the defense? It sounds too absurd. What can I say? If I could really do it, I would have had to hide in advance and wait for the only chance to get out. The defendant's behavior was so peculiar. How could I possibly know in advance that she would wear her costume backwards? Wait, because of the selfie? If she sent the selfie in here, he could have seen that. Under normal circumstances, it's indeed impossible to predict the defendant's outrageous behavior. But as I said earlier, the defendant had sent the picture to Shivery Camel in advance. Given the fact that the defendant did enter the room backward in the video, the argument of our side is now completely valid. It's a bit outlandish, but for the sake of the argument, we'll allow it, I guess.
对。
You made a mistake, didn't you? You just said the defendant sent the selfie to whom? Yeah, okay, so how do we justify that? Allowing the police to identify him as the account owner and pretended to be him, I still wouldn't have been able to see the private messages. Yeah. This live stream platform has very strict privacy settings. To access the private messages, you need to enter the login password again. I was just a behind-the-scene helper, playing the role of Ghost. How could I possibly have his
反
password?
对！
反对！
If you claim that I know Shivery Camel's login password, then prove it. You have your belief, I also have mine. Without evidence, I will not acknowledge anything you say. Do we have this kind of evidence? There's a trick here. There's a trick here I still don't believe in. I don't know. I think there's an easier solution, but I can't see it. Find another way to expose his flow. Maybe the key to the breakthrough has been right in front of you all along, but you haven't seen it. What am I missing? I mean, there's something we haven't used yet. This thing here, it's still like up in the air, and I don't know what to think about that. I don't know how to use it. Yeah, because like he said that, oh no, I did not impersonate him, but that was a lie then. That was a lie, and this is the way you're confronting the lie. By saying no, it was you. And you were able to stream. And if you were able to stream, you were on the account, meaning that you had access to that picture. I think that's it. That's how we are proving that those are two different people. Or do we have like a mini game for that? Is that like cutscene, animated cutscene, falling into the sea? Nice theme. Due to the witness significant change in image and identity, I have adjusted my reasoning multiple times. It's time to calm down and carefully re-examine everything that has happened since the trial began. Okay, no, I'm pretty sure that's the direction of the... The victim Pine Camel, also known as Shivery Camel in Spooky Shack, was in partnership with his twin brother, well, his twin sibling, Bamboo Deer. On the day of the incident, Pine Camel streamed as usual, while Bamboo Deer was responsible for forging paranormal events. During the interruption of the livestream, a conflict may have occurred between the two, ultimately leading to Pine Camel's death. To fabricate the time of Pine Camel's death, Bamboo Deer describes himself as his brother, as their brother, and continued the live stream. Hence the break of like 20 minutes. At that moment, my client Plum, or maybe a bit more, like it was almost 1 hour. At that moment, my client Plum Swift arrived at the community where the incident took place. She took a photo of herself wearing a reverse mascot costume and walking backward, which she sent to Shivery Camel. Based on this, Bamboo Deer deduced a way of escape by leaving the house at the moment Plum was entering backwards. Afterwards, Plum accidentally pushed down Pine Camel's body, as recorded in the video. Every step of my reasoning should be valid, but now I'm stuck at proving that Bamboo Deer could access the private messages of Shivery Camel. You don't have to prove that he could, you have to prove that he did. Proving that someone knows something is extremely difficult, so my reasoning has reached a dead end. Think it over, have I really covered every aspect of the case so far? Through the entire incident, is there any detail that I have consistently overlooked? The reason the crime scene became... the reason for tripping. Wait, the reason Plum Swift tripped. Oh, wait, is that even more like... What are they trying to do here? The reason Plum Swift tripped. She tripped because, like, she tripped on the corpse, right? And that's why she fell. Because Plum's appearance and behavior was so bizarre, we naturally assumed that it was normal for her to trip. But in fact, we've never discussed the reason why she tripped. Think about it. What was the main reason she tripped and got tangled in the railing? She stepped on something. Looking back carefully, I remember Plum mentioning that she tripped because she stepped on something. While reviewing exhibits, I did see a Roth-looking cardboard piece stuck to the mascot costume, resembling a small ghost. Well, okay. Wait, what are they trying to say? Where are they going with this line of reasoning? But even so, what does it imply? Yes, handicrafts. To determine whether the victim fell one or twice. What am I missing? The memories that can be connected to the current situation are... in here that would be the handicrafts, but like, I don't see where we are going after that. Okay, they made like some, props. Never waste materials. So that was... no, what? That was planted deliberately? This throat cardboard seems to be used as a ghost. It looks poorly made and clearly has excessive glue on it. Kid Monsieur for Chivalry Camel, but why did he make such a low quality handicraft? Shabby item. Why? I don't understand. Oh my god. Is this case able to trick me? Why would they leave such a shabby item at the scene? Wait. There's maybe something a bit crazy here. Is this... oh my god. Never waste anything. Never waste anything. So, a logical assumption would be that this one was not made by Bamboo Deer. So it would have been made by Pine Camel. But if it's the case, that's why the DNA is the person who died. Is that the thing? The person who died is not Pine Camel. It's Bamboo Deer, right? And that's why you had access to the... oh my god. I clap. If this is the twist, I think this was nice. Because they hinted like twins like the entire time, but I did not expect it to be like there was like such a misdirection with like, oh, I'm just disguising myself in the live stream. But I think the disguise is right now. Oh my god. Wait, they're crazy. They're crazy. The person responsible for the injury crowd was someone else. Oh, they are crazy. Oh my god. They are cooking. I think like the costume walking backwards, it's a bit insane. But the rest, I think it's great. And it's then it works with a trick of like, oh my god. Because you don't have to provide. When he entered the courtroom, he could say that, oh, I'm Bombardier, whatever. Whether, the sibling is like, woman or man, doesn't matter. Oh my god. The small ghosts, both in terms of art style and the insufficiently dry glue, couldn't have been made by Plum. We have had a huge misunderstanding about something. There's only one explanation. They are crazy. They are crazy. They are crazy. I clap. I clap. I clap. This is peak. Wait, how do you do that? Oh no, it's okay. Okay. Okay, it was not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so this is like very Dual Destiny like. Oh my god. Okay, good. Pretty good. I did not see that. I wasn't expecting this, and I should have known. But this works, and the crazy thing is that it still works with that. It still works with that piece of evidence with like the band-aid. It's just that I was not seeing far enough. I think like this is a very artificial clue. Because it's not very natural, and it's very specific. But to be able to fool me during the entire trial, this is pretty good. Because normally I'm not too bad like at finding those things like early, solving early. This is case one. This is case one. People have said this is the weakest case of the game. What is happening? It seems you have come to an interesting conclusion. We assumed that Chivalry Camel in Spooky Shack was the victim, Pine Camel, so we saw Bombardier as his live streaming assistant. But the truth is the opposite. The Ghost Hunt live streamer, Chivalry Camel in Spooky Shack, is actually you, right? Oh, it works also that way, I guess. I guess it also works that way. But what are they trying to say? So is this like Bombardier or is this like Pink? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Just enjoy the ride, I guess. I genuinely believe that, I don't know. The person who died, I think, is like Pine Camel, but I don't know. Wait, let me think. To have access to... No, the person who died is like... The person who died has to be Bombardier. You are Pine Camel, like in the court. The victim's family name is Camel and the streamer's name is Chivalry Camel, so we naturally assume that they were the same person, but upon consideration the witness and the victim are twin brothers, and the witness's surname was changed after adoption. If Bombardier is the streamer, it also makes sense, doesn't it? Due to the earlier misunderstanding, I believe the witness was pretending to be Chivalry Camel on camera. But in reality the witness did not pretend because They are Chivalry Camel themselves. The one who pretended to be Ghost is the victim Pine Camel. Oh, so they are going for this, okay. Since the victim wasn't Chivalry Camel at all, there's no need for anyone to disguise as him. It doesn't explain how you have access to... No, okay, wait, what? I can swing both ways. Okay, let's continue. This is the only explanation for the authentic craft that tripped up my client. You couldn't stay at the scene too long, and most of your time had to be spent on the live stream. So you had to leave the logistical work to your brother, who might not be as skilled in handicrafts as you, but had the time. If the witness, Babodier, is indeed a streamer himself, he could check the private messages sent to Chivalry Camels anytime, because the defendant's selfie was actually sent to him. Okay, it works both ways, I guess. I think it's like the less interesting way of like solving this, because like the evidence would like be the same if we were like in front of like Pine Camel and Bombardier was the one dead, and I think it would have been like even stronger. But okay. This is not true. It was my brother who registered this account. You can check it in the back end. Since he had always been your supporter behind the scene, it's not surprising that he did the registration. But you cannot still prove that I was actually in charge of the account. And the Growth Handicraft was just a mistake on my part. Anyone can make mistakes. Beside that, I won't say another word. Chivalry Camel had injured his leg during a livestream before. I just need to examine your leg in court, and I often fall and get injured while performing the wobbly doll in Hanfu. My legs are full of scars. They're alright. Yes. Oh, wait, the fingerprints indeed develop after birth. Oh, yeah, of course. However, both Pine Camels and Bombardier spent a long time at the scene, so their fingerprints could be found everywhere. Besides, the witness likely cleaned up the scene. It's hard to determine the live streamer's identity based solely on fingerprints. This is where we used now the Band-Aid card. He's the best. He's the GOAT. He has understood the case. What is he presenting? It's just that there's so much. What? An identified piece of evidence left at the delivery station of Murder Maison. Dear Mr. Quadrant, I found that you requested in the stockroom of Murder Maison and I've found what you requested in the stockroom of Murder Maison and have sent it out immediately. Please check it upon receipt and settle the remaining balance as soon as possible. It's urgent. Thank you. Camel. Mr. Quadrant, is there like a overarching, story? Was dropped by the sender after they had handwritten it at the delivery station. And the surveillance camera at this delivery station clearly captured the face of the person writing the postcard. person in this footage could also be Bombardier, I need to look carefully to distinguish. What are they cooking with this final evidence? Oh, is that a right-handed, left-handed situation? Oh, it is. But it doesn't matter if we don't know who. Wait, you are right-handed. There's also the pen, but pen is different. I guess it's Bombardier. I don't know. I don't know where they are trying to go. You seem to be more agile than I am. If you already use one piece of evidence, you have to give me the answer and settle this once and for all. Oh, this is like a one-shot. I think I know the whole truth of this case, with the surveillance image provided by the prosecutor Hush and this postcard. I just need to present one more piece of evidence to prove all of my deductions. It has to be this.
就是他。
The screenshots from the live video. Yes, please allow me to explain. First, please take a look at this photo taken at the delivery station. The time shown at the surveillance footage is 5:25. If I remember correctly, the previous witness, Orchid Falcon, mentioned that the police arrived at the scene and discovered the body at 5:15, which is consistent with the autopsy record. This means that 10 minutes later, at 5:25, Pine Camel should already have been dead. Therefore, the male figure in this footage can only be the witness, Bombardier, who looks almost identical to him. It's the weaker solution, I think. I think you could have pushed the story even further and say that the one dying was Bombardier, and it would have been very, very, very strong. As we just learned, this postcard was handwritten by the sender at the delivery station. Let's put aside for now what the content of the postcard might mean. I believe that it has little relevance to the case. What's more important here is that we have obtained material written by Bombardier himself. Please take a look at this screenshot. Shivery Camel fell during the live stream, and the reason he fell was because he was walking and writing at the same time in front of the camera. In other words, we can prove that the material in the footage was written by Shivery Camel in Spooky Shack. Okay, so they are going for the written analysis. If these two handwritings match, there are only two possible conclusions. First, Shivery Camel is still your brother Pine Camel, but in this video you disguise yourself as him to continue streaming. Second, Shivery Camel's true identity is you, giving you ample opportunity to obtain information about the defendant. Regardless of which possibility, you can no longer deny your involvement in this case. Okay, so that's maybe very interesting, because it works also with our theory of Pine Camel is you are Pine Camel right now. Because I think she's making a very strong point of whatever is the truth, whatever solution you're taking, you are cooked. How could this happen? Even if things become uglier, I must fulfill my brother's final wish. Interesting. Eh? He is back. beautiful? Although the evidence chain just now cannot prove that you're the murderer, it can maximize the reconstruction of the case, and the police will reinvestigate everything and discover the true cause of Pine Camel's death. Is this really meaningful for you to continue denying? What? What is going on? Even I was overwhelmed by this momentum. This showing off is really amazing. To be fair, I'm kind of like eager to see like the true prosecutor of this game, because I think that's the best part of like the Ace Attorney games. Want to confess in court. Do I still have that right? You have the right to speak. Please continue. This account Chivalry Camel in Spooky Shack has been jointly operated by my brother and me, but the person appearing in front of the camera was me. The account name was chosen by my brother. Despite my adoption and surname change, I've always been a camel in his heart. On August 8th, we arrived at B2 of Murder Maison as planned to conduct the live stream. One of the parts involved a white cloth falling in the process, but my brother didn't paste it securely, so it almost goofed. At that moment, to ensure the effect, my brother climbed up to the beam of the murder house, and he accidentally fell, and the table was right below him. I see. So he died accidentally. Then this is even a murder case, then why are you hiding so many facts? We find it hard to understand too. Your actions have caused my clients, Plum Swift, to suffer unjust accusation. Involving an innocent novelist was not my intention. I feel deeply sorry. But if my brother's death was due to his own recklessness actions, it wouldn't meet the conditions for receiving insurance payout. Interesting. He told me this in his final moments. I'll call an ambulance right away. I can feel I probably won't make it this time. Okay, it works because it's an accident. It works because it's an accident. I think it could still have worked with like Bamboo Deer being the one to die, but the beneficiary is you. The compensation should be quite a lot. Without you, I don't want any money. I'm calling an ambulance. We have to spend more money. Remember your illness. With the money, your illness can be cured. You must stay alive by any means necessary. Otherwise, everything I've done would be in vain. My brother and I were originally twin brothers in an ordinary family. Many years ago, our parents were involved in an attack carried out by a terrorist named Cerberus, which I guess is kind of like the big antagonist of like this game, and died. So okay, he knows about this. We became orphans overnight and lived in an orphanage. My brother was introverted and not good with words, while I appeared lively, so I was soon adopted by the Deers. Although our paths changed, we still often met, and our bond never changed. But at that time I was diagnosed with a blood disease. I couldn't understand what disease it was, and couldn't remember its name, just that it required a lot of money. My foster parents were not high earners, and I originally had no blood relation with them. Since I had already reached adulthood, they just gave me a small amount of living expenses and completely abandoned me. If I couldn't be be treated on time, I wouldn't have much time left. I didn't want to burden my brother, so I started working desperately to earn money, taking on any jobs I can get. But my brother thought it was too hard and suggested finding an easier job with less physical labor and quick money. And that's why you became a streamer? You think you can make money by being a streamer? This is not possible, not in this economy. In this job, it's all about giving the audience what they want to see. Just like magic, everyone knows it's fake, but they just want to see the performance. He registered Shivery Camel in Spooky Shack. My brother said in his heart I would always be his little brother. And our surname Camel is the best proof of our blood connection. Since then, I started being a streamer. I wanted to create a persona of someone timid and fearful, prone to attracting paranormal incidents, and my brother took on all the physical labor himself. He portrayed ghosts in front of the camera, creating strange noises, phenomena, as if real paranormal events were happening. Then he used online information to plan live streams, create effects, edit content, and even devise promotional gimmicks. He did it very well, and our account followers gradually increased. Because of the name Shivery Camel, everyone assumed that the one streaming was my brother. I think it was the fame that my brother deserved, and I didn't mind it. But until now, we were just a small streamer climbing up the ranks, and every month we had to pay a lot just for maintenance costs. My brother gave all the income to me, but we were still far from the cost of treatment. There are some rare diseases that are not well covered by the health insurance, And treatment options are very, very limited and extremely expensive. You have one of those, right? Yes. Until yesterday, my brother arranged to meet with the best-selling novelist, the defendant. He wanted to promote his account by collaborating with a novelist who happened to be interested in collecting material. Unexpectedly, that's when it happened. I have made a promise to my brother. But my brother wasn't very educated. He might not have realized that the insurance he bought is not suitable for our situation. It has exclusion clauses, one of which is no compensation shall be paid when the insured takes the initiative to take risks. And my brother did take the initiative to walk up to the beam, leading to his accidental death. I had to stage the scene as if he had been murdered. I can understand your various helplessness for the sake of survival, but I can't forgive you for framing others for the crime. No, at the time I just wanted to fabricate a murder scene. After all, it's a murder house where two people had already died. As long as I moved my brother's body upstairs and set it up as an unsolvable case, even the people from the insurance company came, there would be no way to trace it back. I never thought of framing the novelist. After all, if I hesitated too long, my brother would have died in vain. But your behavior, and there's another important reason for which I did all of this. My brother was not sociable since childhood, and he had no other friends or relatives besides me. If he just died like this, no one would remember him besides me. So you thought of making him die as a streamer Shivery Camel during the live stream. Yes, if his death during exploring the murder house could be seen as his final curtain call as a ghost hunter streamer, at least our audience would be shocked and feel regretful. He would be remembered forever, right? You went so far in posturing the value of live streaming. This is truly difficult to approve. But I didn't expect that she would send me a selfie at that time and come over so quickly. At that time, I just finished disguising the body and had started the live stream. It would be terrible if she found out. However, I found the costume the novelist was wearing is a work of mine when I took custom orders online. I know its flow and also noticed that she wore it backward. At that time, it felt like an opportunity from fate. So I took advantage of her entering the house to escape using the blind spot. I never thought she would accidentally push my brother's body down again. I'm the one who made her defendant, and I'm sorry. Plum was on the verge of withering. Can't believe you can still laugh about it. Is this over? I don't know. Do you have any evidence to prove your claims? There is indeed a thick beam on the roof that house which the police didn't expect to be relevant to the case. I immediately texted the police to investigate upon hearing the testimony. I mean, okay, he's like actually based. This room had been unoccupied for a long time and I accumulated a heavy layer of dust. There's many traces left on it. Basically corroborate the witness's confession. They can be easily verified as long as there are traces. You fabricated the scene and provided false testimony to obtain insurance money. I cannot turn a blind eye to those crimes. Okay, this is like kind of like the theme of the game, is that he really had a reason for that, and in the great scheme of things, yes, leading to like a false accusation is kind of like a bad thing, obviously. But in the sake of like justice, like social justice, he didn't do like a lot of, you know, wrong things here. Your own trial may not be far after this one, be prepared for it. And providing false testimony indeed meets the criteria for prosecution. Attempted insurance fraud. Serving time in prison is unavoidable. Moreover, if you had thoroughly understood the details of the insurance from the beginning, whether it's the tragedy of pine camels or your illness, they could have been solved in a better way. Oh wait. Is this... Wait. The law is the law. Okay, so that's the theme of the game, like the law is maybe not justice. You can still be granted medical parole. This is probably the best end for him. Wait. You not only defended the interests of your clients, but also uncovered the truth of the case in court, which I must say is quite a splendid performance. Thank you for the praise. It's time for the verdict in today's case. But since the trial began, am I really the one guiding the direction in this courtroom? It's time. There's a final twist. Okay, but we know he's based. Is that just like the twist? I mean, this is kind of obvious, but... If I'll seize the opportunity to defeat you... Yes, he's just, you know, testing us. No? Okay. Well, no twist. Former Chief Prosecutor. It seems that his new lawyer has passed the test. Okay. Let me formally introduce him. Prosecutor Arthur Hush, a senior figure in our country's judicial circle, a pioneer of modern court, and my teacher's teacher. He's also popularized courtroom confrontations to uncover the truth through debate between the two sides. In terms of seniority, I think you might have to call him Great Master. Great Master? So you're here to play dumb and test me? You're not a rookie. But you did quite well in this case, didn't you? What a cutie. In my twilight years, there are still old cases requiring capable young individuals to handle. This time, I, together with Charlie and the judge, concealed my identity just to ease the pressure on you in the trial. This time I just happened to take on a case involving a suspect with a not so serious crime but a complex storyline. Perhaps someday in the future we might meet again. But before that day, you should work on improving yourself and become more reliable. Is this like a situation where he will be like the final prosecutor of the game? Largely due to his subtle guidance behind the scenes. I declare this case closed. Okay, no twist. Or maybe there is one, I don't know. I never thought that my first time in court as a lawyer would involve so many twists and turns. I'm exhausted. Where's Chief? You're so capable. Thank you. Since the outcome is good, I won't say anything about it. Don't take it too seriously. In the whole event, I was just a hapless bystander. When I get back, I'm going to incorporate Luna's heroic figure in my next novel, The Genius Prosecutor. As a nemesis in the protagonist's destiny, an evil and unscrupulous lawyer. And the twins, I never thought they had such a tragic and torturous life. Just too heartbreaking. A non-fiction novel about them now. Pine Camel and Bambi Camel supported each other only to be cruelly teased by fate after enduring hardships. Even if he can't get his insurance money, he should receive attention from society and receive a large amount of donations. Your remarks just contradict the profile information I have. Why are you still trying to find contradictions? Because I want to confirm something. The profile which contradicts your remark is... Are we talking about just the fact that he's Bamboo? Dia?
就是他！
From what I know, the former name of Bamboo Dia was never exposed even after the conclusion of the case. You just called Bambi Camel, didn't you? Just a slip of the tongue. His name has never been mentioned in court, so how could you mistakenly call him that if you didn't know? You must have investigated the two brothers in advance, right? The real identity of Shirley Camel from the beginning. With your intelligence as a best-selling detective novelist, you must have deduced the truth of the crime scene, right? You said it cost a lot. Isn't it too coincidental that you happened to buy it in Bamboo Deer's store? Were you intending to harm them right from the beginning? Okay, she's just very smart and very, kind. You could have immediately pointed the police in the right direction and you wouldn't have become a suspect, but she doesn't care about that. You had to become the defendant in this case, because this way you could involve yourself and draw the attention of the entire society. Those reporters outside were brought by you after all. Raise funds for his treatment and to have his brother remembered by the public. Both of his goals were achieved under the public's attention. She must also be able to find information about Master Hirsch. Could it be that she had anticipated that I, who absolutely trust her, and Prosecutor Hirsch, who is absolutely competent, could have led this case to its current conclusion? story you just told me. You just already moved me. Oh, I really like the Moe gap, let's say. Like that she's very, very, very smart. But also so bubbly. I think we don't see like a lot of characters like that. Very, you know, incredibly smart and yet very, very, very upbeat. Inspiration is flowing in. Okay. But those things just no facts or my imagination. Congratulations on your successful debut in court. Rise from the ashes, so the name of like the 5th case in Ace Attorney 1. The term is not used that way, yes. I didn't expect so many twists and turns in this case. You had many highlights. So it's a bit interesting because we never use that element at the end of the day. We never use that, so... Being praised by Chief. A subtle feeling, this case is probably far from as simple as it seems. I mean, there's like the letter, yes, but that's for later. Many things on it that we still don't understand. Where is the destination for the postal card? Ending in capital letters often linked to classified organizations and are hard to access through regular means. Master Hush for now is going to personally handle it, even at his age. I'll treat you something. A hair spa. +2. I guess I can skip that. Okay. Interesting. This is already my 2nd time in court. So I guess like she was like, it's like trials and tribulation. She was like a suspect at some point. Achieved victory today. To be honest, I'm quite happy. Yes, I mean, this has been a long stream, a bit longer than I expected, but we are reading the text out loud, so it takes a bit of time. Even seemingly unreliable Plum may have contributed to the perfect outcome of this case. The disastrous case 5 years ago was a turning point in my life. Because of it, with a mission that I must fulfill, I will figure out all the truth. Interesting. Okay. Back to the title, I guess. And yeah, it starts basically there, whatever. But you can also select from this, right? Okay. Funny how like this is chapter 3, right? But this is the same like characters. Okay, so just to debrief like quickly because we are reaching almost like 4 hours and my cat is also getting like needy. It's a strong first case. I think it's a strong first case. I love the misdirection for the identity twist because it's such like a common theme in popular fiction and detective fiction, and it's one of the first ideas that you have in mind when it comes like to those things. I like that they really insisted on like, oh, this is the misdirection is that you have been like impersonating your brother, your sibling during the live stream, and they went for the solution. The true answer is that, oh no, it's just that I was the streamer all along. And I think it's like, okay, it works. And I think it also contributes to like the more hopeful social discourse at the end of like, oh no, we are trying to rehabilitate, we are trying to showcase that this problem with like insurance contracts with like healthcare, so it works. But first of all, I do believe that some like elements were missing, namely like the injury on the knee. And I think you could have still the same discourse. Again, I'm insisting a lot on that, but like you could have this discourse while like swapping the two characters. That like Bombardier is the one dying, because you can like, nobody can really check that it's the case, to be honest. And it would have been like even more impactful, I think. You can still use like the illness thingy and whatever. And I think like there's this situation where you do the final like C of, you know, deduction minigame. And we thought about like the elements that were given to us, and we came like to this crazy solution. And it's just a bit sad that the real solution is like slightly less ambitious than that. And it comes off like as like, oh, too bad. We could have gone like just a step further, and it would have, you know, drove the case completely home, and like such a strong finale. But as a first case, I think it's good enough. It's even like almost great. There are a few like elements that don't completely make sense. Again, like the wearing the costume backwards and creating that blind spot. I think there was maybe like something a bit more like you know, elegant to create like that blind spot. The prop that was like glued on the costume, nice, but a bit too artificial, I think. It's not as... It could have been a bit more discreet, or... I don't know. The idea of like, oh, I did not have time to do the prop, and then my brother was the one doing it, and that's why like this specific prop was like badly designed. Why not? It's just that there's no other elements in like the case file that would hint to that aspect, because we did not see like a lot of props in the case file, and I think that's why like, okay, you see that and you're like, it will be useful, that element, at some point, but it's hard to really like deduce anything from the very beginning, because it's so hinged on one particular like assertion during the trial. And I think like the point of like all those stories with like mistaken identities and you know, kind of like the sort of like Sion Kaku like puzzle, you need the puzzle to be extremely simple and to be solvable basically at the very beginning. You just check like your initial like elements in your case file, and you're able to like deduce what happened. It may be very hard and cryptic in the sense that oh, you need really like to think with an outside perspective to reach that solution, but the initial elements should be enough. And that's why, for example, so last year we had the release of like Emio, Famicom Tante Club, like the return of the series. It's such an insane case because you can solve it immediately. Just by seeing like the crime scene and photographs of the crime scene, you can deduce everything that happened there. And there's no like, you know, confirmation until the very end. It's one solution among all of them, but just to be able to imagine it, I think it's great. And this is kind of what is lacking in this case. And I say that again, it's a good case. It's even like, almost a great case. And if we are already talking about like those sort of like, very subtle hints at the beginning, it means that, it's already good. Yeah, just like a little bit more, subtle cluing at the beginning, and it would have been like very, very good. I think the discourse also about like, having to take another identity, being like a woman, interesting. I do understand, because of it's a Chinese game, that you have certain limitations, there are certain things that you cannot show, but I appreciate it. And I guess the translation is not very good in that respect. It doesn't help. It feels like a bit too clumsy, not like tactful enough. I would have enjoyed like to see like Bombardier kind of like acknowledging that this new identity was very important to them, and that it's not just a disguise, it's also who they really are. And yeah, but apart from that, I think it was like for like a game that is referencing a lot Ace Attorney. There's a lot of reference everywhere. I think this is nice. They are trying to mix and match like all the systems of the previous games, which is like a possibility. But yeah, it felt like a very unexpected but nice twist. I think so. I think they did like the whole I remove my costume, my disguise, the same way like you have the character Frank Sowit in the first game, Ace Attorney 1, first case, and he like throw like his wig. They wanted to do something like that, I guess. I would have preferred, if it was not like a complete disguise with, a wig and all, but just, it's just, oh no, this is, their real hair. But yeah, they are dressing more like a woman. And again, it can be like, you can analyze that the way you want. If your headcanon is that they are like a trans woman, they are drag, whatever, but at least you give like a little bit more like freedom of analysis than, oh no, I'm just, disguising as a woman, but like I really don't care, and like use like the, masculine pronouns for the character. I think that you're losing like a little bit of something. It's like too much of a gap between the two identities. But it was interesting. And I think like, there's something to say about like the sort of like liberating attitude that they had like in some ways with a disguise, and being very sad and subdued when they took the disguise off. But yeah, it's like small tweaks that would like really drive the case into like a great case, or even like an excellent case, because I think it was almost there. I think there's one weak part, probably. It's like the setting. Like Mère de Maison is not very interesting. You could have had like something a bit more interesting, I think. But it's also a tutorial case, so you want something also very tight, with only 3 houses, very simple, no witnesses, kind of like a pseudo-locked environment. But yeah, I think it's pretty good. So we can see that the second, the second case, it seems to be, some sort of like temple or whatever. Seems a crazy death here, to be honest. And he is playing with a Nintendo Switch. But that's why you can play Chapter 2 immediately, because that was in the demo. But yeah, and I like the protagonist. I think she's like very, she doesn't have a lot of personality behind, like between being kind of like a rookie, and she's like sharp, but not the sharpest, but she's still sharp. I like her design a lot. I love, when she's tilting her head a bit sideways. She looks very nice in the sprite. I know there's a lot of other woman characters later down the line. I think the main prosecutor, is a woman, and I think there's a woman detective also, something like that. But yeah, that was like an interesting first foray into this game. I will get back to to it regularly. I don't know how they are dividing the next cases, if it's like three sessions for a trial, a case, or if it's like 2 sessions. But I think we can do the thing where we do now one investigation part into one trial, and then it ends basically the session. We have been doing streaming for 4 hours, and it was just the introductory cases. I think we are multiplying the time of the playthrough by 4 by reading everything, but that's kind of the point of playing visual novels and those type of adventure games. Okay, anyway, I'll just see if there's someone worth raiding. You don't have music anymore because I'm unfocused from the game. I don't know. Nobody that I really know. I mean, raiding Northern Lion, again, no point in doing that. Okay. Anyway, thank you for being here today. I'll see you next week. I don't know what we're doing next week. There's some Dragon Quest, but after that it's kind of free. Maybe I'll do one stream kind of work with me. Not exactly a reading, let's read together, because it's very demanding. But it can be the sort of Pomodoro, working together stream and whatever. We'll see in the planning. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.